All right, hello everyone. Welcome to another Things VTubers Say. Hey everybody, thanks for coming by on this Sunday afternoon, or maybe even for some of you, a Monday morning. Hey everybody, welcome. All right, so we do have our guest here. It's Zeke Marigold, and we're gonna go ahead and say a welcome to him in just a moment. But first, we have our co-host here, Cody, for the first time. Could we get a quick sound check? How you doing today, Cody? Cody looking underdressed. Ouch. Okay, I can switch out later. Muted. Okay. Let's do that again. I bet we got him. I bet we got you. Here we go.
Can you hear me? Can everyone hear me now? Hello, it's me. It's Cody again. Once again, I am here. Here, me.
The boys all come down. Okay, we hear him now. All right. He certainly said just a bunch of wonderful things about you, chat. Not horrible, terrible things about you, chat, in just a moment ago. But yeah, we have Cody here for the first time. Thank you so much. All right, and it is Zeke's time. Zeke Marigold, how are you today?
Hello there. My name is Zeke Marigold. You may know me as Clemps. That is my nickname. After all, I am very, very happy to be invited here. I'm going to be honest. I've been bricking it for the past day or so. I am very, very nervous little rodent right now. But hi everybody. Hello. How's everyone doing?
Oh, it's all good. We're just talking about video games. That's all we're talking about today. That's all we know to talk about today. So it's all good. It's all good. So yeah, that's right. It's Zeke Marigold at Klimps RPG here on Twitter. One of a few accounts that we'll be showing off in a moment here. The Rat VTuber in your walls Twitch partner. So let's jump into this here. We have you, but we also can kind of go back a little further here, right? Because we also have Kaz Hollows. Who's Kaz Hollows?
Oh, Kaz is a sweetheart. So, initially, when I was in the primordial soup trying to figure out what my form would be, Kaz had been a friend of mine for a while, and I'd always loved his artwork. Really, really cool kind of, I guess, best way for me to describe it, it's kind of like gothic, a little Tim Burton-y sometimes, like Tim Burton-esque. And I really, really vibe with that style. And I always... I knew I wanted to do VTubing. I knew I wanted to do it, but I didn't want my model to look too handsome, if that makes any sense.
It does.
Well, okay.
It does.
It may have not worked. Oh, hello. I may have frozed. I may have had a little freeze. Apologies. Oh boy. It's all popping up.
It's all
baby.
coming undone
Right,
now, boys.
It's all coming up, Millhouse. All right. So in the end, I really wanted someone you look at and you go, ooh, then nasty. You know what I mean? Like a nasty boy. And I think what ended up happening was we kind of got a combination of two things. We got Tumblr sexy man and nasty boy, which I am very, very happy with, to be completely honest. I think I cannot be happier with this form. And then so the concept art was that, and then obviously that was passed on to Twin, and Twin kind of spun her own magic with it, and this is where we're at now, and I can't be happier with how I look and everything. It's fantastic. I'm so happy. Yeah. yeah.
We have Kaz here, VTuber Catboy Witch, also debut TBA. So looking forward to some more there. But yeah, we have to win the VTuber Goober. We just had Twin on last week, and lots of revelatory, pieces there. I had to ask, like, how was it that Zeke came around, and it was like it sounded like a really solid reference there that came around. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
It was really funny. I'll tell you, I actually knew that you were going to be a VTuber. I think I don't know. When did you maybe first really let people know that you were going to be a VTuber?
Ooh, I would say probably when I was accepted by Twin.
Okay.
When I was accepted by Twin, I kind of had a moment of like, now don't get your hopes up too hard, because obviously, things might happen, things might fall under, but I kind of let the thing where I was like, okay, I might be 2D, give or take at some point, and then people automatically go like, haha, VTuber, and sure enough, they were right. And yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with how things are. Streaming kind of feels refreshed now. I would say like every day kind of feels different and exciting and fun. Not to say that it wasn't before, but it's just more so now.
I hope so. I hope I know that. I never did the IRL streaming thing myself. I've only ever been tube, so I don't know. This is the only self I've ever known. I don't feel too limited though. I don't know. As a matter of fact, I kind of feel like I can just bounce off the walls without much issue, right? Like, so
yeah, I get you.
It's kind of the other way around, but I'll let you know. The way I found out was I was invited to write on the Kudo board for Twin's birthday earlier in the year. I think that was like April.
Oh,
I think that was April, and then I can't help but maybe see who else is on there. A little bit interesting just to see what else other people are doing.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden there is Clemps saying, "I can't wait to be something, and you're my mama," and I'm like, "Oh my god, is that the?" Who else could it be? There is no other Clemps. Like, I don't think there is. So
the JRPG enthusiast who gets everything wrong.
So
my goodness.
That was like, it's happening. Oh my god, it's Twin. This is awesome. So yeah, full disclaimer to the crowd here today. I've been a huge fan of Clemps for years, plural. Big fan of their videos, and we'll go into that in a moment. But back to the origins here. So you have some tweets out here. This is from June. Rats are so cool. Saw a fucking massive one in London one time, just scurrying about. Legend.
It's such a big boy. I'm not even kidding. We were just walking and there was the biggest rat you've ever seen. And I think we were even talking and we were kind of joking about London in the time. We were just walking, going like, the fresh sewer smell of London, like, and then all of a sudden, the biggest rat you've ever seen in your entire life, like an actual sphere, the biggest sphere you've ever seen, just like runs by, and then it scurries into like the crack of a building of this really nice looking London office, and I'm like, yep, that's that. We were just like, you know what? Yeah, that's about right. That's about right. It was a good day.
London rats are they're just built different. I think
they are.
Yeah, they're basically super rats. I don't know if London was Australia, the rats would be kangaroos. They're like huge. I've seen two rats in a fight before, and on a two platform station on the station platform, and people are just watching it, like filming these two rats have a fight, and then off they scurry, and it's like, oh yeah, that's a normal day here.
Like, nice. Mate, you kicked my bottle. They're going at each other. Yeah, no, they're all prepping for they're all prepping to get ready to swim when the UK finally sinks. They're getting ready for it. They're eating well. They have to be strong.
I do love this comment here in the chat. Just has the rat and saying "Oi, love." It's perfect. I have to admit, I've not been to London yet. I've been to New York City, another well-known metropolis with rats, well known for its rat issue, and it's just a wild kind of thing you just accept of the life, right? They're just kind of there. There's kind of no getting rid of them, so it's just a matter of life in that way.
Interesting with London, I think for me, because I'm not like London based, but I have like a pretty direct line into London from where I live. I've only ever seen, okay, this is gonna sound really weird, right? I've seen a lot of rats in London. However, and there's like a big asterisk, right? I saw that big chunky bugger, like running about, having a good time. Legend, as I said. But then the only other time I saw rats was when I went into the tube at about 10:30 in the evening. Nobody else was there apart from me and my friends. And we looked to the left of us, and there were about like 15 rats just scurrying about.
Wow.
Yeah, and like they were doing the thing, like, you know, like you see those videos of a ton of rats, and they're just like running. And they're going into like holes in the walls and everything, and we were like, oh my, we're like, whoa, look at all the rats. But I, honestly, in terms of like London wildlife, I've seen more foxes than I have rats.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's funny because I guess it's literally a normal thing. Like, you know how in the US everyone's like, oh, wild raccoons are everywhere. For us, at least in London, it's like foxes, and that's such a bizarre thing for loads of people, especially if they've come from like the countryside and they've come down to London and they've gone, oh, why the hell are there foxes in like, town?
Yeah.
I can't help but like thinking they're like wearing petticoats and hats and things like that, like just mixing in with people in
like
the London
Pinocchio?
scene. Yeah.
Like that one big fox from Pinocchio.
Right.
Get everyone to be an actor.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's correct. Yeah, bald eagles are pests in Alaskan cities. Bald eagles are assholes, by the way. It is our national bird here in America, but they are jerks. They are absolute jerks. They will screw up anything. I don't know. I guess that is nicely representative of us. No, but we also. I just read someone else in chat saying I was just reading that Chicago just passed New York City for amount of rats. How do you measure that? How do you like? Well, we did a census, and. All right. Well, in any case, yeah, we have you as, I don't know, a rat connoisseur of sorts. So here's another post from August, right? Like, love and respect this madman's passion for a bite of cheese. Look at that smile. I've never felt true comfort like that. Absolute legend. And you've, I don't know, is it fair to say you've kind of been associated to rats or the term rat boy for a bit of time now, right? Like,
yeah. Sorry, I don't know why. So sometimes I see some of my older posts. I'm like, why did I do that?
Oh, you're gonna get a lot of that today. It was great. I was actually, again, because I go back and we just kind of look back. This time last year, back in November of last year, your Twitter posts are so like simple but wholesome at the same time. It's just like, I love playing games with friends, and that was it. That was the tweet. That was all that was to it. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of nice to see on a Twitter timeline from point to point, actually, where it's not just big event or this or that. It's just kind of some nice stop there. All right, so we have a history there of the rat, and now we actually have, of course, the references. So we have the concept art and the model design. This is super cool. Yeah, the hair, the skin, the scarf, the gloves, the shirt, the pants. I mean, was there like a time period even that we were aiming for, or is it an aesthetic that we were going for here?
Do you mean like as far as like
clothing? What especially is like the clothing of the model here, especially. I'm like kind of looking at it, and I'm like, this looks like it's of a time period, but is it of a time period? Or is it like an RPG kind of?
So there are a couple of things actually. There are a couple of inspirations. Have you watched Mary Poppins?
Yes, I have.
Okay, you know chimney sweeps.
Yes.
That's kind of a vibe I wanted to go for. I wanted to go for like a London chimney sweep. But obviously I live in the sewer, so it's a bit of a weird one. But
it's a dream. I'll be a chimney sweep one day. Up there with the people.
So I kind of wanted to go for like that slightly kind of around the Victorian era, kind of going slightly beyond that. That kind of look. But I also wanted a bunch of Final Fantasy IX references, because I love that game so much, and I think I've said so many times before, but Final Fantasy IX has kind of formed a lot of my years. It's kind of saved me out of many dark places, and I really, really love it. So I wanted a bunch of 9 references in it. So I have my scarf that I can take on and off. If you look at a character from 9 called Freya, my scarf shares the same colors as her tabard. I have her bow on my tail, and Freya, for people who don't know, is a rat girl. So she's a rat lady.
I was always kind of wondering, like, what is that design?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So she's known as a Burmesian, but they're rats. They're rats. Like, even in the game, people like they kind of talk down to them as rats. And my boots are based after Kuja, who is the villain of 9. So basically, there's a lot of like inspirations here from that kind of Victorian era and 9 in general. As far as the paperclip, I just kind of thought it would be fun. I thought it would be fun to see it like jiggle around and stuff like that. And yeah, so there's no real reference to the paperclip. I just thought like, I want an earring, but I want something that would what's the word? That a rat would have.
Isn't that a safety pin? Maybe it is.
Oh, you're right. No, it is a safety pin. Sorry, no. Yeah, it's a safety pin. I'm sorry. No, you're right. My brain is full of soil right now. I'm sorry. But I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna go ahead and spoil it. We will be ending the stream talking about Final Fantasy IX. So
yeah,
we're gonna. So if you feel like you need to dive in. By the way, chat, you're gonna see 2 things. Firstly, you're gonna see that the text on screen catches up. That's been an issue for like 3 weeks now with Stream Alerts, or excuse me, Streamlabs and the chat. Apologies. Other thing, yes, we are in subscribe only mode and also on a 1-minute slowdown. That's just because of bots. Feel free to unsub after this. We don't mean to keep you here if you aren't interested. If you want to just interact with chat, though, that's cool. And feel free to hit that like button down below. We also have the link to Zeke's Twitter down below as well, so feel free to check that out. But yeah, hitting that like button helps push out the stream, helps push out the VOD. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. Okay, all right. So no worries. We'll get to Final Fantasy IX. No worries. That's happening. So we have the concept here, and then we have the final run. So to my understanding, this is actually illustrated and rigged by Twin. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it
okay.
absolutely is. I couldn't. Honestly, I couldn't really believe that that I was accepted. If I'm honest, I really wasn't expecting it. I thought, you know what, I'm gonna shoot my shot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shoot my shot, and a lot of times in my life, my shots don't usually hit. So it's like, you know what? But sometimes they do, and this time was one of those ones where the shot worked, and I'm incredibly grateful and very, very thankful to Twin every single day that I can use this model. It's very, 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 very nice.
And here we have you saying just what you were saying before. Our goal was to give them the same energy as a pet you'd call a nasty boy. So there it is in black and white. And we had finally some teases here in July, like serious teases here in July. Here we had the munch, the kind of, I don't know, the nibble there on the ear there. Just full out face in late July here. So lots of good teasing going on. And then this this cryptid, the blurring here. This is actually October 12th. This is getting really close to your debut.
Yeah.
And I think you actually made very certain to blur out the name for a time there, actually, it looks like. Was that the case, or was it just something you kind of held back on a little bit of time for the naming?
It was the case. As far as the name, I'd had the name settled for a pretty long time. I'd say. I think it was more out of how can I put it? I didn't want to go like, "Hi everybody, here is my name," and all of a sudden, like in the future, if I ever tried to make a Twitter account, the name would be gone, right? Because somebody snapped it up, and that was kind of the biggest concern. But at the same time, I think for now, the Klemps RPG works fairly well because I decided to do a bit of a play on words. RPG does not stand for role-playing games; it stands for Rat Plays Games. So it works kind of well. And I try to work the Klemps name into the lore as well. And I'm also making it so if in the future, you know, the Klemps name, you know, I might for this particular VTube model anyway, you know, if I ever wanted to drop it for whatever reason in the future, I can. So I'm trying to make kind of safety nets, I guess you'd say.
Oh, yeah. we actually have Steel Rat in the chat saying Zeke like Attack on Titan. Yeah, I mean any thinking around the name, or did it just hit you and it was like, that's right, this is what this is
because
what's
it rhymes with squeak.
Nice. Nice. There we go. There you go, really, everybody. So yeah, it's Twin. We had a little big fun time speaking with this particular illustrator and modeler last week. Again, here we have you right next to Lily and herself and Mouse. And basically talking with Twin at this point, she's just like, yeah, I'm basically busy with my clientele now, right? So you're in now, you just have to get slotted in and everything like that. Was it a long process? Well, let's actually back way up. When did you know you wanted to be a VTuber? When was there anything that kicked that off, or what happened? I think
with a lot of people, when the big C word dropped in 2020, the big nasty virus, you know, everyone's kind of cooped up inside, and that's when I discovered HoloLive.
COVID-19.
Oh!
This is not a monetized stream. We can say whatever we want here. So.
You know that. That's the. I discovered HoloLive, and I think because before then I wouldn't really watch streams. I was never really a stream watcher. I was always a VOD watcher.
Okay.
But for whatever reason, HoloLive kind of got my attention more than anything else. And especially because, you know, during 2020, I was living by myself with just my cat. So it was very, very lonely. It was a very lonely few months. And I think VTubing kind of saved my sanity in many regards. And I know that's, it sounds a bit hyperbolic, but it really is true, because 2020 was rougher than I want to admit on stream, honestly. It was pretty brutal. And knowing that there was, I have so-and-so who's going to be streaming later, and I have so-and-so, it kind of gave me a schedule in a weird way. So you kind of have things to look forward to. You know, you can go like, I can set my alarm for here. And, you know, when you're in like the kind of worst state ever, you think, at least I have this content creator who I really enjoy that I can tune into and watch. And ever since then, I think this was during the kind of that period as well. I really didn't enjoy streaming on webcam. I just kind of fallen out of love with it, I think. And I knew I wanted to get rid of the webcam. But I was also thinking, but then people aren't going to have any like visual reference for, you know, what's going on screen.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden everything kind of comes together, and I think I know what I can do. I can become a VTuber. And ever since then, the gears started to turn. The person who I want to thank the most for right now is one of my very best friends in the whole wide world, Bluebird Hay. Without Hay's help, I would never have done this. Hay is the person, he kind of directed me to Twin's DMs and stuff like that.
Nice.
And Bluebird Hay is without a doubt one of the single biggest inspirations and kind of help when it comes to doing all of this, because I had no idea where to look. You know, like I was still very baby at this point, but Hay knew a lot. Like Hay was kind of a bit of a veteran at that point, so he really helped me. And yeah, so I think that this one goes out to you, Hay. I love you, man.
And not to belittle your experience in 2020.
Oh no, please.
But
please.
I feel your experience and feelings in 2020 are not even remotely unique. I think that was an experience so well felt in so many current VTuber fans that it absolutely couldn't have been. And you know, some people just stayed as viewers, others got into VTubing. Some people have gotten to VTubing, gotten out of VTubing, got back in. It's been a wild, wild ride. And then 2021 kind of rolled around. People started scratching heads at the beginning of the year, wondering if it was a fad. It's turned out it's not. It's certainly just another way to stream. It is my preferred way to stream. And yeah, it's also, to your point though, you have to have some kind of visual representation for yourself. And why not go with an artistic fashion like a VTuber?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, we even just recently had you say this during the busiest week of my year. I want to take the time to thank my crazy talented mama twin once again. The form I'm in when I stream allows me to really open up and allow and each day feels different and exciting. I owe a lot to her. Go follow and support her now. Absolutely. So,
yes.
Big fans here. All right. And then, of course, we have her giving us, whoa, plague be upon ye, throwing the Zeke ass. So I think it's that one. Fair to say you are a Twitch streamer, though, right? Like, as a VTuber, you are a Twitch streamer here.
Yeah, I would say, for now, definitely my main home is Twitch when it comes to streaming. But I am 100% not opposed to kind of dipping my fingers into YouTube a little bit. I kind of like the differences between YouTube and Twitch streaming. I like how YouTube streaming kind of has more of a membership-based approach to things. Because you can do that on Twitch, but it's kind of more common on YouTube to you know, focus on kind of like well, not focus on membership streams, but you know what I mean. It's just kind of, I kind of like how each site has its own vibe, like very, very different vibes.
Yes.
And both I enjoy, like I really do. You know, when I'm in like Iron Mouse's chat and stuff like that, it's like a very different vibe. When I'm in somebody like Fauna's chat, you know, on YouTube, and you know, there's like different communities, different a different kind of style of commenting. It's really interesting, and I think I think at some point I would really like to experiment a little with YouTube streaming and just kind of figure out how it works, you know.
Here we have the question: Zeke small enough to fit in a jar? Yeah, it looks like it. Looks like it here next to me.
Yeah, I've got to get out of that one quick.
Love the panels here, and once again, that's Klimp's RPG on Twitch. And let's go ahead and give you guys the proper actual YouTube channel where you should go ahead and sub here. So there it is. There in chat. Feel free to give that a sub, folks. Once again, Zeke Marigold channel. Proper VTuber labeling there. There we have it. So these this looks like kind of the VOD channel, so to speak. And I think is this like a kind of like a renovated VOD channel of some kind? Is that what
it is? Yeah, it's a renovated one. So I used this for like my older VODs and stuff like that. And I think in the end I was just like, you know what? No, I'm gonna stick with this because, you know, I think I'm one of those people where it's like, you know, I think people kind of who know me know who I am and stuff like that. So it's not like I need to go completely incognito. But I do like to have like some degree of separation from VTuber and my other job, which is the kind of JRPG stuff. And I've got to be completely real. I need to be a bit more vigilant with the YouTube channel. I need to upload VODs more regularly.
Get the shorts. Just throw shorts out there like crazy.
Yes, absolutely.
It's the cheat code right now with YouTube. I swear.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There
we go. Yeah, we have a lot more subs there. Thank you guys. Thank you.
Hell yeah! Thank you very much. Well, I did one short, and I think it displays exactly what you're getting into if you go to my streams. I think it's a very good indication of what you will get.
So
yeah,
we have those shorts. Well, we'll get to it. We'll get to the other platforms, but yeah, we of course do have your. I'm going to call them the legacy accounts. We have Klemps here, JRPG YouTuber Twitch partner, and all the wonderful updates there. We'll be looking at a few tweets from this account too today, of course.
Oh yeah.
Along with that, of course, is the channel, JRPGs and Slap Knees. Again, I will say that I've been a vigilant watcher of this channel for quite some time. As you guys can probably see there, it's, well, JRPG focused, right? Lots of in-depth videos. Some of them 20 minutes, some of them 40 minutes, some of them even, I think, maybe longer at points. Not to dive too much into it here. We will talk about the series. But yeah, you folks may have at some point seen some of these wonderful videos here. Especially, we have the Nier and Drakengard videos that have made their rounds. Still, kind of in my mind, the definitive sources to know about these particular series. To be honest,
I appreciate it, but it's still so funny. Even to this day, I think those are some of the videos I would really love to redo. Not
sure.
Take down, but because there are so many mistakes that I made just due to that being like a really formulative time in my kind of YouTube thing. Like, still very much a hobby. And so I tried my best to kind of fact check and everything, but I did get a bunch of stuff very wrong. And I think if I ever went back and redid them, it would kind of be like a modern day sense of humor. Modern me, I've already shed like 2 layers of complete flesh and skin since then. My brain is completely different, and I think it'll be interesting to kind of look at Drakengard again, especially today, because after all these years, I think I'm of the mind that I love Nier. I really do love Nier, and I love Automata and stuff like that. But I think my heart is with Drakengard. No matter how busted that game may be, I think it is one of the single more unique games that you can play if you choose to. Like, it is such an interesting title, and I understand why people don't want to go into it, because it is very repetitive. It's all of these like other things, but if you can kind of make it past that, it has some of the more compelling stories like in a video game. I know, for example, like Ike Evelyn like really likes Drakengard and stuff like that. There are a bunch of Drakengard enjoyers in the VTuber community. I am planning in the future to do some sort of a charity stream where I kind of try my best to beat Drakengard in one sitting, which is probably yeah. Ooh, yeah. So that's going to be a bit of a laugh riot, but I might lock it down to one ending, I think, because otherwise I will. Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to go past ending E, because that is a pretty rough one. But I think what makes me love Drakengard even more is, it's going to sound weird, right? But the gameplay of Drakengard, its repetitiveness is actually kind of relaxing to me. There's something about going up to a big group of guys, pressing square, getting experience, moving on to the next ones, knowing that each slash of your sword is powering up your weapon. And each time you level up your weapon, it looks completely different. It's like a little, it's like a gacha system, but obviously you know what you're gonna get. It's like, it does reward you. It rewards you for, actually playing. It's great. It's really fun. I love it.
So we were gonna hold this for a little later, but I think it makes sense to talk about now. And I'm actually gonna just move myself over here. So we literally just pulling up the wiki here, right? So for those who maybe don't know, the Drakengard and Nier series are effectively the same series, but are like from entry to entry are so radically different that I think it's fair to say they all give a very different experience. Yes. You have here the releases. I mean, we're talking all the way back to 2003 to most recently 2021 with some of these entries. And, kind of looking at this, naturally, a lot of folks, of course, came in through Well, I have to ask, you were a fan of the series for so long, and then Automata comes around and becomes and then it becomes near household level name at that point, right? So
yeah,
was that odd to you? Was that like
yes?
Okay, yeah.
Everyone in the community didn't know what to make of it because it was this situation where all we'd really experienced were not amazing games, but with really compelling stories. And we were like, hang on a minute, what if we get a good game with a good story?
Right.
And then Automata kind of was that. And it was very, very weird. I have a friend, and we would talk about, I think I remember I got the Japanese version, which was out like maybe a week before it was released in the West. And the great thing about that is that you could play it in English. So, of course, I jumped at the chance, and I was like, oh my god, this game is good. It's good. This feels very strange. There's something feels off, like, what is this?
Because,
yeah.
And I'll say this, my impression of the series further is, it is actually storyline, characterization-wise, and so many other ways, it's a very deep series for all these entries. Even the wild, wacko, off-the-wall fest that is Drakengard 3 that's just before. But, yeah, it is that moment where a series actually kind of like grabbed hold of the zeitgeist.
Yes.
And brought a lot of new eyeballs on it. Thank you very much, Jesse, for the 14 months. 14 months, man. This is some time. Imagine breaking the tradition without Lady couldn't be Cody. Oh my god. It's Cody, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do the tradition. But thank you. So yeah, we had this just like atom bomb on the scene. But yeah, Drakengard, my other impression of this is I don't know. Do you have a favorite of the Drakengard series, or do you?
Yes.
Okay.
I do. It's the first one.
Yeah.
And I know. I mean,
I'm not surprised.
Again, I get it. I get why people don't like it. I'm not even gonna say it's my trash. I just believe. I don't think it's a trash game. I will go to my grave with that opinion. I do not think it's a trash game. I think it is incredibly repetitive, and that is its biggest flaw. It's very, very repetitive. But I've played repetitive games, and I can say this, that Drakengard is not... I know a few people defend it because there were some interviews, and I can't confirm at this point, it's been such a long time, if it's like genuine, so please take it with a grain of salt. But I think there was one part where it was almost like intentional to make the gameplay this repetitive aspect, to kind of drill home the idea that, this is kind of what Kaim does. He just murders again and again and again, and eventually it becomes this like, just leveling up system where you just kill to get stronger, and eventually violence and murder just becomes another repetitive aspect of your life. And again, please take that with a grain of salt, because like I said earlier, I could be talking shit, but I think that is a really interesting idea if it is indeed true. Because I agree with it. Sometimes in the game, characters will be talking to you and they're just like, like, Kaim, you're not normal. It's just like, you are, like, nobody just kills this much without even shedding a tear. Like it's and I think it's really interesting because, like, you're Kaim, like Kaim can't speak, you're in Kaim's body, and you realize the characters are kind of talking to you as well, and it's this really, really interesting game. And obviously there are the endings which are legendary at this point. It's kind of, I think if you were to advertise them to people, like, getting to the endings of Drakengard are kind of like the big cherry on top for some people. There's the Mother Grotesquerie, the Queen Beast in Tokyo, and it's this it's peak, it's Kino.
Oh, we have this comment in chat. I just got here, and of course he's talking about Drakengard.
I didn't start it. I didn't start it. I didn't start the fire. I merely contributed to throwing oil on it.
We don't mean to spoil too much about the game, but for a 2003 PlayStation 2 game, it goes hard. It goes real hard.
It goes hard, yeah.
So that's just all that has to be said about it, and it's a wild series. Lastly, I do have to ask, any impressions of Nier Reincarnation?
I liked it.
Okay, all right.
I liked Reincarnation. That's the that's the remake of. Oh no, wait, sorry, no, I'm thinking about the remake of Replicant.
Right.
Sorry.
Right.
Sorry, no. Reincarnation's the mobile game, isn't it?
It is, yeah, for Android and iOS. I don't know if you had an opportunity to even touch this, but.
You want me to be blunt?
Oh, please.
I have not played it.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people have, even major fans of the series, honestly, is my impression. I was expecting way more discourse and talk about it, and I haven't seen as much as I was expecting, to be honest. So,
yeah. I was say, like, Cody, what are your thoughts on the series? Do you have any have you dipped your fingers in?
Excuse me. My first I guess experience with any of this series was Automata. And I really enjoyed it. I thought the story was incredible. I think what sold me on the whole series in general was like this one gameplay trailer of the first boss with like the bullet hell type thing, and and I was like, holy crap, that looks so cool. And yeah, I think it was just such a really fun game in it. I spent a lot of time in it. I unfortunately, so here's the thing, right? I unfortunately played for it like years after it had come out. And assuming, okay, spoiler alert for anyone that hasn't played it. So at the end, right, you're supposed to like get help from your friends or people that have played it or whatever. Yeah. But at that point, like nobody was playing it, so I could not complete the game. I actually could not complete the game. It was awful, and I was just like, oh, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna go and watch the damn YouTube video because I have no idea what's gonna happen. And so yeah, it was very painful experience. But I did want to play the remake of the previous game, but I heard like some mixed feels about it for people that were new to the series, because when they jumped into like Automata and like going back, I guess maybe it didn't age as well, at least gameplay wise, because there was a lot of good like quality of life things, I think, with Automata.
Beg to differ. That's me, of course. Like, but I think they did a great job at kind of revamping some tiny little bits, and I think, you know, even if you started with Automata, I personally get more out of the story of like Replicant and stuff. I think it and like that's not to say that, you know, Automata has a weak story, but absolutely not. Like it's great. But Replicant just it makes me cry. Even to this day, I still like weep openly with Replicant. It's good stuff. But yeah, as we say, I do not mean to talk about. I actually came in here not expecting to talk about Nier or Drakengard that much, but you have to bring it up. You have to bring it up. You did this to me, and now people are gonna come in like, of course you're on about that. No.
So I don't think you're also alone in being a YouTube content creator that wants to go back and like revise works either. My impression is folks that have had content creation and been a part of the content creation for years have that feeling. If you did that, do you think you'd keep the old videos up, or do you think you just...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I would. I think I'd kind of do it in a case of like, you know, these videos, they're you know, they're my old stuff, and as I said, like I've already shed 5 layers of skin since then. I'm a different person now. How are the videos going to be today? And I think it will be really fun, especially with Drakengard, because there are so many side stories. Because you know Taro loves his side stories that I didn't cover. You know, there's like an alternate timeline of Drakengard 1 where like Furiai makes a pact partner and stuff like that, and there's some really interesting stories that I could probably go into, and I think it will be fun. But again, this is all purely hypothetical.
Sure.
Purely hypothetical, and I think I'd probably bring it out for like a milestone. I don't know what yet, because If I'm being honest, again, the YouTube algorithm hates my guts more than anything. Especially on the other channel. Like right now, I'd say I'm even surprised that people still watch me stream. Like it's gotten to that point where I think like, oh man, you don't upload for like a couple of months because you're working really hard on one video, and YouTube's just like, well, gotta be dead then, you know, you gotta be passed away. Oh no, so let's bury him. But it is what it is. That's just part of the job, isn't it?
And just for laughs here, there is the link to the Klimps channel. So please feel free to give that a sub. Again, I've personally been a viewer for a long time. Highly recommended. So here's another YouTube channel that kind of doesn't exist anymore. What the heck? It's Coffee with Klimps. Episodes on SoundCloud here. Would you like to talk about that decision at all, or should we just move on?
I can talk about it for a little bit. So I enjoyed doing the podcast, but I think I just fell out of love with it, if I'm honest. And I kind of think if I ever want to do the podcast again, I can. And it's the kind of thing where it's like, you know, some episodes I want up, some episodes I want down. I'm gonna leave as many of them up as possible for as long as I can. But it's just one of those things where I just wasn't happy with it anymore. And I thought I need to really go over and revise what I would do different next time. And I think that's pretty much a full stop as far as that goes. Yeah, because I know people did enjoy it. And I enjoyed it. I did, but as I say, I fell out of love with it. Unfortunately for me, but you know, it is what it is. What it is.
I'll just personally say it got me through some very fine days in the past. So I thank you.
Really?
I thank you for the time that you did have it. Thank you for that.
Oh,
yeah.
no, that genuinely means a lot. That does, honestly. That warms my cold little dead Grinch heart. That does. I really do appreciate it. But I don't know if it will make you feel better, but I have some plans to maybe revitalize the podcast with this model. Obviously it would be a rebrand, and I think I would like to have a co-host, because that was one of the biggest issues with the other thing. I think, and this is a me thing, this is definitely a me thing, but I kind of felt like naming it Coffee with Klemps. I was like, ugh, I hate that I make it so like me. You know, I don't know what it.
Okay,
I know that's such a because obviously when I made it, I didn't think like that. But I started to think like, you know, welcome to the me show. You know what I mean? I was like, I just hated the name and everything. I don't know. It's so stupid. Like I know it's like, but in the future, I'd like to go for something different, something a little bit more, something more themed around this little rat boy. And yeah, I think it'll be fun. But I honest to God, False, it means more than I'm letting on that they did help you through tough times, because that's why I make this stuff. You know, like originally when I started this whole thing, it was because other channels have gotten me through rough shit. You know? And I kind of wanted to, I wanted to do the same. And I've always said, I think the biggest compliment to me is if someone watches my streams or watches my videos when they're falling asleep. Because I don't see it as an insult. I don't. You know, so, you're falling asleep to my content? Does that mean I'm boring? No, it means people are comfortable enough to put my content on in the background when they're trying to, you know, fall asleep. I really love that. That is like one of the biggest compliments anyone can ever give me. And, yeah, so I think going forward, I just want to, I just want to make people happy. You know, that's like, I don't know if that's what everyone who does this wants to do, but I just want to, I want to focus on that. I want to try and, how can I put it? I'm always somebody who owns up to my mistakes, you know, and I just really want to focus on never making anyone unhappy. You know, I really just want to, I just want to make people vibe.
Well,
You
I
know?
say the best compliment is money. Give Klimps money. Patreon here. Patreon. Oh, we do have Patreon here. That is the thing that we also see from a lot of YouTube content creators such as yourself that have these kind of videos that are like months out, but they have so much work in them. The Patreon is kind of a very nice, I don't know if I'd even call it a safety net. It's just a facilitator of, making sure that that happens, right? So,
Yes.
Highly recommend, guys. If you could, if you check out some of these videos and you like them, think about checking out the Patreon too. That's still, to my understanding, an active thing out there for you too. So.
Yes. I also, at the moment anyway, I do videos per video. So, for example, the last couple of months I've been working on this Lost Odyssey video. I haven't been paid. So, it kind of comes out of my pocket when I don't make a video. I'm going to try my best to not do monthly for as long as I can. But, if that kind of thing worries, if you're like, oh, I don't want another subscription, it's okay. Whenever a video is out, that kind of thing. So, yeah.
Let's now talk about the debut.
Yes.
What'd you think of it? Did it go as planned? Were you, was it like racking your nerves before you went live? How'd it go?
I was violently spraying shit on the wall. I was so nervous. I have not been that nervous for like the longest time. I was I don't know. I just I remember I started and whenever I watch debuts, I think in my head like, I feel like if I were to ever do a debut, I'd try my best to be really confident about it. I try my best not to be nervous. I've been doing this for years now. I can do this. No, absolute idiot. You fool. You smooth brain clamps. No, silly. That is redonkulous. No, it still gets you. It still gets you because I'm introducing everyone to Zeke, and I realize, wow, there's a lot of names I do not recognize.
Oh, yeah. New crowd.
Yeah. Like the VTuber crowd are here, and I was like, oh, it's a different audience. And like all of a sudden, as soon as the video was over, and I had to hit the unmute button, I think I remember profusely sweating. Yeah, like it was almost getting in my eyes, and I was just like, it was like so bad. But that being said, it went about as well as I could imagine. I tried really hard to make it entertaining. I tried I tried not to violently spray shit, and I think
we had.
Go on.
Well, I was just gonna say we recently had a debut here for Cody and our other co-host Heidi. This is kind of coming after like a year after we had another co-host lady kind of debut. My big thing was like, look, this is. I hope I got this across, Cody, and you're welcome to correct me, but this isn't the end all be all. Like, was the thing I was just gonna try to make clear. A lot of people kind of make it or break kind of moment, but that was kind of the impression I got. I don't know, Cody. I mean, what was your impression of your debut? Do you think it mostly went the way you wanted it to?
No, crazy. So I really wanted to do just like a really different debut of like how the usual thing is to like spend time revealing your model. Right. And I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to spend like 2 seconds on my model and then we're going to go into other stuff. And then Force was like, no, you just take your time, show your model. And I'm like, oh, shit. Okay, well, here we go. So I did like all the little like typical VTuber peaks and the feetsies and stuff like that, and it was fun. It wasted a lot of time, but yeah, Fox is absolutely right. Like the debut is it's just a debut. It's just like your first stream, right? I've had people come into streams where I've just been streaming normally after, and then they like compliment the model and stuff like that. So people will find you and they appreciate you for you. The debut is literally like first impressions do matter, but your first or somebody's first impression might not be that debut. It might be your next stream. So yeah.
No, you have to milk it. You can't do. Oh man, Millie Parfay's new outfit reveal
I respect
was
her so
nuts.
much for it, though.
Well, we found out something. She actually had come down with bronchitis.
Yes.
So she was actually quite sick. So
cool.
it kind of explains a little bit why she was just like blazing through. But like the dichotomy between the Iris reveal, which is maybe the slowest reveal on Earth, a great reveal, of course, and then
Amazing,
we went to Millie Parfay right after, which is like, boom, here it is. All right, I'm out. Was like jarring actually, but we'll talk about that tomorrow and all the cool stuff that came from that. But okay, and then we had a lore video. Can you talk about that? I mean, the creation of it and all that?
Yeah, totally. I had a lot of fun making this, actually. My very, very, very good friend, Sophie, who also does all of the work for my YouTube thumbnails, she helped me out with all of the frames, and in the the debut, I was kind of showcasing some of my amazing MS Paint art compared to what Sophie did. And the entire time I was like, Sophie, you do not have to go hard on this art because, they're going to be over so quickly and all that. And Sophie's just like, nah, I'm going to take my time with this. I'm going to do that. And
nice.
Yeah, no, she did a really good job with the stuff I gave her. I think I wanted to do something that was kind of like a weird cross between Pinky in the Brain and Panty and Stocking with Garterbelt.
Oh, I see that now. I see the panty stocking. Yeah, I see that now. Okay.
Yeah, that was the exact vibe I was trying to go for, as well as kind of like Secret of Nim, with the facility rats and stuff like that, and kind of having a big breakout. And I think I'm happy with it. I would like to revisit it in the future, maybe. Maybe animate it a little harder and stuff like that. Because I had this whole other bit near the end, but I hate to say this because it sounds bad, but it be how it be, But I remember I was thinking, this is gonna cost me so much money, and I have rent. So so I had to be like, right, yeah, I need to cut it. Like, there was a bit like after we go into the sewers, there was going to be another whole segment where it's like, oh, how do you become a VTuber? And I was like, I can't do that. I need to cut this. And I had this whole bit where there are like little sock puppets in like this broken TV screen, and that's what I start off with, going like like making entertainment. And there were these two like Bobby rats, these two like British policeman rats who come round the corner going like, hello, you can't do this without a telly license. And, it's like, what am I now? And then of course it's like, hang on a minute, you don't need a telly license to stream, do you? Haha, I can avoid the old bill with this clever trick. And, that was kind of what I had in mind. But in the end, I decided, you know what, that could be something I can do again in the future.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right,
was the vibes.
Let's get into it here. We have her. Here you have, she's here. The Enagami Corne Nindo. And then before that, you actually had a haul here with both Fubuki and Pokora.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough to say, again, a Hall Live fan, it sounds like you've been watching some Niji Sanji. I don't know, any other particular VTubers that you've been digging or watching recently?
Absolutely. So I'm a big fan of Niji Sanji, Hollow, that kind of stuff. Also a big fan of some V-Shoujo talent. If not pretty much like everyone in terms of like Hollow, Niji, V-Shoujo, I think everyone is incredibly talented, very funny, and I love how unique everyone's content is. As far as like, how can I put it? If there are people, for example, on the Hollow side who I'm like, ooh, I'm going to tune into them immediately. I think what comes to mind is Fauna for Hollow. I really, really love her streams because they help me unwind so well. And that's exactly what I want, because when she streams, it's bedtime. So I want
Yeah.
something on where I can get into bed and do that. And her streams are so good for that. As far as Niji Sanji goes, I've got to admit, Selene is my Oshi.
We have this tweet. It just says Selene. That's all it says. It's just Selene. I think that was probably around the time they had the Obsidia new outfits, maybe.
It
just says that's it. That's the tweet. Yeah.
Yep. And how can I put it? I think if I could choose a second, then Pomu, 100%.
Nice.
Like Alira. It's so annoying because I want to say like everyone. I do. I really do, because I try my best to watch as many VODs as I can and all of that. But I think with the time that I go to bed and stuff like that, I try my best to kind of pick someone for this particular day, and I'll choose a VOD on the next day. But I really I think with Selene, I was introduced to her with her Peppa Pig stream.
That's perfect.
It made me cry with laughter, and I thought, right, she's the one, she's the Oshi, because I thought if these are the regular vibes, then I know I found somebody who is gonna make me laugh for many days. And sure enough, I still absolutely lose my shit when Selene streams. She's very funny. Same with Pomu, all that, incredibly amazing talents. And on Hollow, I love Fauna, Mume, Crony, like it just Ina, I could list everybody, but I just have a lot of fun with VTubers, really, and I think that's kind of the bottom line there. And of course, I think, well, originally, before all of this, it was really Nyanas. Like, Nyanas was kind of the introduction, I suppose. To like, there was Hollow was where I really got into it, but Nyanas was kind of, I was like, oh, cool. And no, I absolutely love Nyanas stuff. So funny. Iron Mouse, everyone, just as I said just now, I could go on for days talking about every other talent and all the streams I enjoy. But I think what I love about everybody is that, that everyone is so different. And I find everybody entertaining in their own right, which is fantastic. So yeah.
Very quickly, we do have Selfie here saying, "It's me," holding you there, and here we had the who's that mod? So yeah, the streamer on the ground, lurkers, chat regulars, and new viewers just enjoying the mod, having the fun with the streamer.
I'll say this,
here we have the Selfie's work real quick here for the emote work here.
Yay!
Yeah. So, and having been in enough of your streams, I know how much we hear Selfie kind of hit there too. So, always able to show off their work.
I 100% know in my heart of hearts that with this Lost Odyssey video, I've never known Selfie come this close to killing. I really mean it. I have felt so bad, and Selfie, if you're listening, I love you, bitch. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for everything. So in this particular video, I'm doing something that I did in my Bravely Default one, where I am doing like a comic segment, for Kaim's 1000 Years of Dreams. The very first story, Hana's Departure, is like a fan favorite. It's the very first one you hear, it brings everyone to tears, and I was like, I'm gonna do a comic of it, and it's gonna be really easy. Was it bollocks? No, it was not. So Sophie had to really kind of work her ass off, and I felt so bad. She helps me make things when I can't make an asset, and she has gone above and beyond for me. So again, that's another person who I'm going to give a little round of applause for, a little clap.
All right.
Sophie is amazing.
Chat, I got to give you the chronicles here of this Lost Odyssey video that is coming out. It's happening, but we have this. This is back from August 31st. All right, this tweet here. I've been grinding all day in Lost Odyssey, so I can do every single optional boss fight in the game. My eyes are bloodshot. I have a migraine coming along, but my God, I'm gaming. Now, Lost Odyssey, what system is that on again? What is that on?
The Xbox 360, baby.
So, I assume that's is that the only platform it is on? Like, so
it is.
Okay, all right. So.
Well, I say that. Sorry, it's on like you can play it on Xbox One, Series X, stuff like that. But it's on like Microsoft consoles. Yeah.
So we have this. It is a long game, long enough at least. Then, about a week later, footage captured for Lost Odyssey, that ending man, love it, now begins the daunting task of writing a script for it. I'm sweating. Fast forward, 2 days later, having trouble starting my Lost Odyssey script. So I'm writing about how I'm having trouble starting my script as the starting point of my script. Okay, that makes sense, getting the gears turning somehow. Let's go ahead and skip all the way here to just a few days ago in November. Hello, my name is Klims. I made YouTube videos before the Lost Odyssey. Before the Lost Odyssey one threw me into the Shadow Realm. The good news is I'm almost done. The bad news, I said that 3 days ago. It will be out before November ends, or I'll skin my face.
We now have 3 more days until my face is no more. So please, okay. The good news is there is a video. It is rendered. It's on YouTube. However, it's the rough one that I send to my friends, and they go back to me and they go, "This bit, yeah." So they go, "This one is shit. This one is good. This bit is too loud. This bit is too quiet." And then I go back and I go, and I edit everything like that.
Cool.
But I'll be real with you, False and Cody. I want to stream so badly. Because streaming is my stress relief, you know? And whenever it comes to the end of a month on these videos, I cannot stream. And it sucks so much. I just want to stream. I just want to, I want to be Zeke, and I've said that when this Lost Odyssey video is out, I'm not going to be touching it again, because this is part 1, by the way.
Oh no, you did. Yeah. You mentioned this during finishing up the Blue Dragon one, actually. Yeah. Like, you might be looking at parts. Okay, so because you're saying here 40-minute video, writer's block, burnout, stress, collected them all like cards. Soon I'll be free, showing off. I know you're close when you're showing off the timeline. I know you well enough.
Problem with that, False. That is only the comic segment of Hana's departure. That is only that. So that is maybe 5 minutes of one segment of a 45-minute video, and that, as far as the timeline goes, is the most simple it can be. So I said, thankfully, I'm gonna say fingers crossed here, right? I'm gonna say 2 parts.
Okay.
Maybe, but for those of you who know, you know. For those of you who've played Lost Odyssey, you know. As far as the story goes, it is a 45-hour game. Part 1 ends 3 hours in. So... and I admittedly, I was talking about gameplay for about half of it.
Okay.
So it's like, I'm kind of explaining to everybody all of the talent behind Lost Odyssey. So, who made it.
Okay, yeah. There's a lot of build up. This makes sense now. Makes sense. Okay. Yeah.
And then I kind of touch on the intro, and then I talk about the gameplay, and then I continue with the story up until what I would consider to be one of the most pivotal points in the early game. And I say that because I was playing it again recently, and I was like, I'm not going to cry. I was actually a mess. I had to stop playing the game because it made me. It really got me. It's so sad. Lost Odyssey is like suffering incarnate, and it's a very wild coincidence that the main character is also called Kaim. So,
wow,
yeah.
a curse.
Yeah.
I mean, we had this tweet from you this time last month. I love Lost Odyssey, but I can't help but laugh that half the story is just quote unquote, "It's magic, bro. I don't have to explain shit."
God, yeah.
That's a challenge. Also, update. I love Lost Odyssey so much, but man, some of the tiny plot beats are so dumb, and writing about them is so hard. So it's a challenge. It's a challenge. Yeah.
It is. It is.
You know, I was going to get into this when we were going to talk about Final Fantasy XIV. We can talk about Final Fantasy XIV.
Sure.
Is there ever a moment where you just wish you just played one game and you were just known for one game? You didn't have to like do these hoops and loops, or do you know, or is the sense of accomplishment after this like rewarding enough for something like moving from one game to the next? Because that's something that comes across my mind from time to time. Man, it's like, I just wish I was just latched to this one thing. But other times I'm kind of like, no, I'm glad that I talk about every VTuber and all that. So
I would say that if I stuck with one franchise, if I stuck with Nier, it would have like broken me down mentally, because I think, and I hold so much respect for people who do, you know, people who focus on just one game, just one series. I respect it, but I can't do that myself. I think when I started to, this is back in the day anyway, even today to some extent, you know, when people call me the Nier guy, it started off and I was like, oh, I'm the guy for someone, you know, like that's amazing. But after a while, something doesn't sit right about, it doesn't sit well like on my stomach. And I think part of the reason why is because I think there's so much wrong with that video. Like there's so much stuff I messed up on, and there are people who are admittedly very right in saying like, you know, these videos have spread some misinformation about the game, and even though I corrected it, some people might only watch that bit and then not watch the correction, and that kind of broke my heart. It really did, and it sucked. It sucked, and after a while, I was like, I can't be known as the guy for one particular thing anymore. I really want to just focus on different RPGs. Like, for example, there's it's not, hasn't really exploded in popularity, but I'm very happy with the performance of my Fuga video. And that's the kind of video I really love doing, where it's something that's a little bit more indie. Something, I say indie, you know, it's CyberConnect, but it's something that's a little bit less known, but is still like an RPG and can still have an audience. And I strongly believe that Fuga Melodies of Steel is one of the strongest new entries for like a lower budget JRPG in recent memory. It's phenomenal. The music is 10 out of 10. The story is, it's good. It's not fantastic, but it's like a really enjoyable time. The gameplay is incredibly fun. And that video made me happier than a ton of other stuff that I'd made before. And I think I was like, this is just what I want to do. I want to do this, I want to do that. And, you know, when it comes to VTubing as well, I just want to stream weird shit. But I understand that, you know, I think when people say, I'll watch you no matter what you stream, I want to believe them, but I think there is an element of, you know, you're kind of just saying that to make someone happy. And I think that's kind of the hard truth, is that some people will only tune in if you're streaming, you know, the hot game of the month and stuff like that.
It might be because for every person that says that, there's two people that don't say a thing, right?
Yes, exactly.
So they may actually be telling the truth, even. That's the glass half full way to look at it, but...
you know, you're right, you are right. But I think I would like to get to the point where I can stream something like Fuga and introduce it to so many more, you know, kind of viewing eyes and stuff like that. And I think that would be really, really... That's kind of what I wanna do. And And as I've said before, I think what makes VTubing so fun is it's kind of like a theatrical experience. You know, you have your little model, my new fleshy form, and you can do so much more with it, in my opinion. I mean, obviously there are some people out there like Germa, who's an absolute legend, who does the face tubing to such a degree that I think he's like some kind of otherworldly god with the content that man makes. But you know, I don't know where I'm going with this. Actually, I'm kind of going on a wild tangent. I apologize, but yeah, I don't know. I think being known for one thing, I just don't want that to be me anymore. I want to be known as like a JRPG enjoyer.
And we had of course you know, experiencing other things as a VTuber here too. So ever since I started streaming like this, I now understand the primal urge to commission endless amounts of art of your OC. Neander's directly telling you welcome to hell.
Yeah.
I have to ask, are you aware of Skeb?
Huh?
Skeb.jp? Oh, chat.
Tell me.
Oh,
Whoa.
chat. False, no! Skeb is the best. Uh-oh, don't.
Wait, is this the thing where it's like, oh, I like it and I don't like it? Is that the thing? Am I going crazy, or am I thinking about something else?
Don't tell him, don't do it. He gonna go broke. Skeb is great, but expensive. Okay.
Oh no, what is this?
All right, it has to happen. It's time to pop the cherry here, chat. All right, so Skeb.jp is it's a commission website for art, actually, but it's basically most specifically to commission Japanese artists. So you get to effectively lock into the entire Japanese artist scene through this site that basically translates for you. And let me tell you, especially like early last year, people were addicted like crazy. VTubers were ordering $200, $300 Skebs on the weekly.
Oh my word.
Non-stop. It is, you are experiencing this. Trust me, others experience this specifically with this website. I'll tell you more after the stream, don't worry.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're not going to break them, chat. Don't worry, we're going to do this in a responsible way. But okay. I just had to know. if maybe you were aware. All right.
Okay. I'm stroking my chin as we speak. Wow. Yeah. I'm metaphorically stroking my chin.
Let's take a look at some art here, because you have some amazing fan art here.
Oh, I cannot even begin. Whenever I get fan art, I feel like a little kid on Christmas. I really do. I really do. There's something real special about someone taking their time for me. I think, why? I don't deserve this, but then they do it, and it's crazy.
Here we have Odin, aka Odin. This is Zeke. They make me laugh. They also have lice and smell like David Beckham's cologne. Here we are with this expressiveness here. Let's go ahead a little bit here. We have here the rat is real. From Enzo, Enzo Talk.
Can we get much higher?
This is great. We have Eraser Planes, already a fan of Curious Little Entity, most peculiar specimen. And now I can see they are a rat. I'm obsessed. Can't wait to see more Silent Hill VODs and Spyro. So we have a few different Zekes here.
I'm obsessed. I think like their style, I'm obsessed with. I think it fits Zeke so well.
I'll say this. Yeah, I'll say this about your art. You know, the fact that you didn't go directly Ikemen, I think allows your artists and kind of the scene that you're already a part of to go with these really, differently expressive arts that just make it different when we see your fan art from other VTubers.
It was definitely part of the intention. I wanted a design that I mean, as I said in the very beginning, I didn't want something that was like too handsome, I guess. I wanted something that was like, especially with the eyes, like with these particular eyes, and like what twin, like, you know, I can do this with the eyes and stuff like that. There are just like various things that you can do, make the pupils bigger, make them these like weird little, and it kind of allows fan artists to get a little goofy, a little crazy, and I really like that. And also, I do have an art tag. It is just hashtag Zeke Marigold. Nice and simple. Nice and simple. So yeah.
We also have you kind of more fully rendered here with Anna Oogie's, Captain Anna Oogie's warm-up doodle. Again, love it when they call doodles and then they, you know, rip these out, right? Like
they put out something like amazing like that, yeah.
Fucking sorcery. Then we have congrats on day, but you big gremlin rat from Artie at Artie Song.
Yay!
Adorable. We have this is incredible. I love this. This is from Julie W. Ali Jules.
Oh, I love that one so much. I'm gonna cry.
Just wildly expressive, right, chat? And we have one that's absolutely on the money, on brand here from Keezer, giving us this rat into the classic Final Fantasy. I'd say this is more Final Fantasy VI-esque in my opinion.
Yeah.
Love it. Lastly, yeah, we had the one here that twin shared. It's perfect for it. Congrats on your debut, Stinky.
Throw it as hard as you can.
So it's just a really great thing. And we're not even. I don't think we're showing half of it here, right? So
it's a great tag to go for. It always makes me happy.
Right. Okay. What else did we have here? Yeah, we talked about the rebranding of the VOD channel. Now you're the fuzzy little skinwalker. We showed off some of the fine artwork here. We kind of talked about your look. This is super cool. Aiming to stream Silent Hill 1 and Resident Evil 1, playing them blind. I've seen you play some things blind, as a matter of fact. Also playing Metal Gear Solid 3 blind, which was kind of that was kind of a thing that was going on, I think, with maybe Nanners and Pomu.
To be honest,
yeah,
I only played Metal Gear Solid 3 because I didn't want to be spoiled when Pomu played it.
That's a good reason, actually. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. I was like, you know what? It's perfect. I haven't played 3. I don't think I could access 4, so I was like, I need to play this before Pomu plays it, because I want to know when she's gonna pop off. You know, and like, ooh, when is, you know.
That's so good, yeah.
Yeah, so I could be, because it's like, if I pop off, then I feel like Pomu's probably gonna pop off too, so I could be like, ooh. And it's like what Jakarto in the chat is saying, like, people consider it to be the best, and now I've played it, I absolutely consider that to be the case. Like, I'd played 2 in the past, and I really liked 2. I really liked 2. But 3 is just like another beast. It's so good. Man, that game's good.
Cody, I have to ask, have you ever like jumped on something so like you were not spoiled, or you just want to get ahead of other people, or is it has that ever been an influence on you?
Yeah, it's definitely been a thing for me for the Tales of series. I love the Tales of series, and then when Arise came out, that was like a day one purchase, and I basically stayed off the internet for like 48 hours and tried to get through as much as I could.
What did you think of Arise? Sorry.
Oh man, I really loved it. I actually,
my man,
quality of life, like so many quality of life changes in the whole series that made it just so much more enjoyable to play.
That is
like where I've played. Yeah, where I've played, like, you know, everyone loves Symphonia, right? Like, I also love Symphonia.
Yeah,
I've never played it.
I can't go back to play it because it's not. Yeah, I know. It feels really really old now. It just feels like a dated playstyle, and which is an awful thing to say to people who, like, you know, their livelihoods are like playing all this old stuff. But I'm like, I guess this is more of a hot gamer take, is that sure. I believe I'm not one for like remakes and redos and stuff like that. I think they should just let it die, and if people want to play it, they want to play it. Because the way I think the direction they took with Arise is just so much better, and it just made it such a more enjoyable game to play, especially for people new to the series as well.
It was so fun, and like all of the oh man, Arise is good. It's one of those games, and I think I don't know about you two, but sometimes do you ever play a game and you get near the ending and you just stop playing it, not because you get bored, but because you don't want it to end?
Yes, that has happened to me a few times. I've got a handful of games. I say a handful of games, probably a lot of them actually, where I just haven't got. I'm at the end, but I just hadn't completed it. Actually, I did that recently. Well, I say recently, but I did it with Breath of the Wild. I was literally at the end of the game.
Oh, okay.
And I refused to complete it until like maybe 3 years after release, when I finally did the last boss. Yeah, so I completely get that. I completely get that.
Yeah.
I was just giggling to myself slightly earlier about Metal Gear, because I've never played a Metal Gear game ever, which is it's probably blasphemic.
No, it's not blasphemy. It just means you have like I'll always say this. It is not like a bad thing if you haven't played it. It just means you have the opportunity to play some amazing games for the first time.
Yeah, that's true. But what's really funny is I have a a signed cover of Metal Gear Solid 3 from Hideo Kojima.
And you're holding it from everyone else.
I literally have never played the game, but I got one.
You cheeky bugger.
Yeah.
All right.
Pomu trying to hone into your area right now.
Well, I heard the Symphonia talking. It was like Kiara approaches at this point, right? So, okay, we have this. Still staying here, of course, that being Twitter, but I added a Hive account. You actually went all out here, actually. You included your profile picture and banner and all that, and
yeah. I think.
I mean, that's a responsible thing to do. I just went in, registered my name, and was like, well, I hope someone doesn't take it, because
this is the kind of thing, and I think I'm only going to talk about it briefly, because I don't know about you guys, but the talk about it gets not just me anxious, but I think it makes other people anxious. But I think the entire situation that happened was we're talking about it very briefly before the stream began as well.
We did.
It was kind of a wake-up call to everyone, where you look at your basket that is about to sink into the ocean and you go, all of my eggs are in there, and I don't have another basket to move them into. And that's kind of what I realized with this whole thing. And it's more a case of, I realized that all of these sites and everything like that, and like there was a time where people would jump from social media site to social media site. There'd be Tumblr, there'd be MySpace, there would be Twitter and stuff like that, and then eventually everything just kind of became Twitter, and everyone near the end were going, oh no, like everyone, like I got sucked into it as well, and I've got to admit, I kind of resent myself a little bit for that, because I really got almost sick over it, and I really hate that was the case. Because it's a good way to let people know that you're streaming and stuff like that, and it just kind of got me a little. I was like, it started to get me a bit frantic, and I was like, sweaty, yeah. But I think after a while, you kind of talk yourself down from it, and you just go like, nah. I'm getting sucked into the doom spiral, the classic doom spiral. Everyone gets sucked into it like a shit being flushed down the toilet. It's just you're going round and round the bowl, and that's what everyone kind of got caught in on. And I think the biggest wake up call from this is we need more of these sites to kind of put ourselves on and advertise ourselves and just kind of spread ourselves out a bit, things like Discords as well, they're really helpful, because one of the biggest worries was just, oh my god, I'm gonna lose all my friends, all my friends who follow me on there who might not follow me here. You just want to puke because it's so like nerve-wracking. But Yeah, that was a couple of days, wasn't it, lads?
And you've talked at times also about taking days off social media.
Yeah.
And how that's been beneficial for you in the past too.
It has. Back in the day, I used to think I was like better to be, what's the word? Swayed by social media, you know, kind of being impacted in it in terms of my mental health. And eventually I realized that I'm a big dinky liar in a diaper, and I'm I'm crying and bashing my legs around, and you know, and eventually it came to the point where I was starting to get into like mini fights with people on Twitter, and I was like, nah, that ain't me. That ain't me. Stop it. What are you doing? Like, don't try and be like your friends who, you know, admittedly are very funny on social media when they're a little bit sassy. And I was like, I can do that too. I can be a little bit sassy as well. But then you realize, like, nah, it ain't me. And at that point, I was like, nah, I'm just gonna be me. I'm just gonna be me on social media. I'm just gonna be a little goober. And then, you know, whenever the doom spiral hits, I'm just gonna take a few days off because. What's the word? Go to the Winchester and let it all blow over.
Right, yeah. I've learned I have that in me once a season, where I just kind of go in hard, maybe, and people are like, where did that come from? It's like, it's just something just kind of didn't look right. And it was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and go in this one time, but not make a habit of it and not make it like my content where I'm doing that or something like that. That's just, that's not why I started. That's not where I want to go at all. So exactly. That is a fantastic reason to get off social media. Like I realized maybe 2019, I want to say, I was on Twitter way too much. Very much addicted to it. Very much addicted to the cycle. And I had like adopted all of these things from Twitter, and I was like, I'm just part of the machine at this point. I need to cut myself off from this. And the expression "touch grass," I kind of love, honestly, because it's true. It's true. When you get off the site and you go like, oh, there's a world out here, and I'm talking to my friends, and we're playing like Gundam Evolution, or we're doing all this, you know, we're talking about other things outside of the doom spiraling, and you kind of have that moment where you breathe in and you breathe out, and for the first time in weeks, you don't feel stress on your breath. You know? Maybe that's me. Maybe that's a me thing. I'm happy with admitting that, but I think for me, social media impacts me more than I would like to admit, and so that's why I get off it when I can. I just know for myself, I have not given myself the time in 2022 to get off social media. Like, I just have not given myself the proper time. 2023 is going to be different. We're going to have designated days where it's like, we're not doing an episode today.
Good for you, man.
We're doing something else, or maybe nothing at all, and that's fine too. So there's gonna be some changes coming up next year, and it'll be for the best.
That's really good.
Yeah,
I'm genuinely happy for you, for you and everyone, really, because you know that's how burnout happens, and that's when you start not enjoying the job that you love. That's happened to me at least 3 times, and I'm gonna aim to never have that number double.
Let's go ahead and now talk about something everyone loves. It's Pokemon! Everyone loves Pokemon!
Yeah, especially nowadays!
Everyone loves Pokemon. Nothing crazy. We do have you out here. This is, I think, actually, again, something else a lot of people would agree with. I've concluded that despite being one of the more buggy Pokemon experiences I've had, where I've clipped through the floor and had the game crash on me as a couple of examples, it's the most fun I've had with a 3D Pokemon game. It's also in desperate need of a patch, this of course being Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, recently released. The biggest release of a Pokemon game of all time. Lots of eyeballs on it. Pokemon. Have you content-wise, have you ever thought of like going hard on Pokemon, or is it more of a this is a me thing? What's your kind of thinking around it?
I adore Pokemon. I really do. It's one of my favorite franchises. But that also means... No, I'm not going to say it also means, but it's also one of the franchises that I go kind of hard on in terms of my criticism of it. But I don't do it on social media as much anymore because people get angry. People get very angry about Pokemon opinions, and so I don't do that anymore. Like the other day when I was streaming Pokemon Violet, there was like multiple times where I was like, ooh, the frame rate here is bad, or like, ooh, this is like what? And it's not that I'm doing it's not like I'm going through it going like, game poo poo stinky. Like, no, there were many times where I was like, I'm having tons of fun here and da 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 da. But people kind of wouldn't stop being negative about it, and it kind of dragged me down a little.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
you know, when I'm here to have fun, when you see people going like, look at how bad that flag looks, I'm like, I'm not really looking at the flag. You know, like I think that was
probably that was kind of probably maybe their kind of idea of the fun of it. Like, let's rip it apart, right? Like, but
I don't find fun in that anymore. You know, I really can't. I think the last video I almost did that with, but I also tried really hard to be as fair as I could, was Little Town Hero,
which has the
ironically
best last boss of all time. Has the best.
Don't even start with me, mister. I'll get you.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you can, please watch that video. Where was that from? Anyways, yeah, again, you have to watch it. Oh, God. When is it from?
It's another Game Freak one as well.
Yeah.
It's another Game Freak one. And I feel bad. Like, I'm playing through Violet, and I'm like, oh, man, I'm having so much fun. But then, you know, you send out a Pokemon and half of the camera has glitched into the floor. And you just have that moment where you click your tongue and you go, man. But that's kind of it for me. I kind of click my tongue and I go, that needs to be patched. And that's kind of where I want to leave myself at. Because I think Scarlet and Violet, if I'm being honest, is not a perfect open world game. It's really, really fun. I have a lot of fun with it, and I think it does work for the Pokemon formula. But I think they need to work a little harder on making, like, you know, like playing Pokemon and going through certain routes. You know, like in X and Y, there was that really beautiful, like, luminescent mushroom forest, and there were all these really nice environments and stuff like that. And there are those in Violet, but I think they need to work a little harder about making, you know, like just kind of one big, like, it's
you know what, I completely understand what you're saying, because I think it's so there are some really nice environments, but most of them are barren until you get to like one or two spots in each area, in each biome, I guess, where there are some really nice set pieces, I guess, but for the most part, you're walking around and you're exploring things. It's just really empty. It's
like the wild area, but with a bit more varied landscape. And I'm gonna go hater mode for a second. I didn't like the wild area in Sword and Shield. I was like, I just didn't like it. And I think they really worked hard at making me like the wild area, and they did. I like what is here in Scarlet and Violet. But I think it would be really cool if in another game, you know, you go to a giant mountain range, and you can go through it, and it's like how can I put it? It's like a route within an open world, you know? So you go in, and at that point in the game, you have no access to flying or anything like that, so you have to navigate through this really cool environment. And, you know, later on, when you start to get more, you know, like flying or rock climbing, you can get on top of the mountain range, and there might be something else there, you know. And they did that to an extent, but I think they can go even harder next time. And if Scarlet and Violet is just another stepping stone for the Pokemon series, then I see this as a good stepping stone. They just need to well, what they need is a more people to work on the open world, because I think I saw on social media, I forget exactly what it is, but I think for maybe again, don't hold this as gospel because I might be talking shit, but it was like maybe 1 or 2 people who were working on the entirety of the open world thing, and you're like, I think
maybe a team maybe would be better suited for a task like that encompasses the game. Like,
exactly, and having like I mean, even getting some outside help, and I think they even did, but I think even more people to help with what's the, sorry, I do know the word, but my brain is full of nerves right now. What's it called? When you optimize, like when to really optimize their game well. Because that's one of the biggest issues I think I've experienced in Violet, is that it is pretty poorly optimized.
It's a head scratcher because it is, people kind of bring up that it is the biggest media franchise around today, and you would think because of that it would be given the resources as we've seen on other projects. So it's it's a bit of a dichotomy. I am very happy to hear that people, despite that, are enjoying the actual base gameplay pieces to it, at least from what I've seen on the whole. I also think, if I may say, that a lot of us are now kind of getting into tune with game performance. I think it used to be we didn't notice this stuff. I think
I was a kid, for sure.
Yeah, it was just like I don't know if we really noticed that a game was running as bad as it was, or were as critical of these things. Now, it's not even just frame rates; it's frame timing we're even getting aware of. As a more general gaming public, not even just like as gamers, not even as just those that consider it like their hobby. I'm saying like even the general gaming public are just being made more aware of performance issues with games, and it's kind of coming to a head here. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. It'd be really nice if in the future we can have a game like this where we don't have to put like an asterisk next to I'm having fun. Where you can go like, oh, I'm just having fun, instead of I'm having fun, but the glitches though, it's like, man, it just kind of sucks the fun out of it a little. But I also think people are right in their criticism of the... Sorry, I just saw the delightful young man on screen. Who's that? Who's that handsome man? But yeah, I think people are right to criticize it. But I think I'm more on the team of like, I hope they learn from this and maybe patch it in the future and make it even better so more people can enjoy it. Yeah.
That's right. It's Sanic. He's here.
It's the boy.
My face when the first video game OST I'll be purchasing after years of not buying any is Sonic Frontiers.
Oh my god, it's good.
I was not expecting... This is another like Nier moment. I was not expecting the acceptance and kind of almost like mainstream kind of running of another Sonic entry here. Any impressions as to maybe why that is or what's happening here?
So, I have a group of friends, and one of them is an ex-Sonic speedrunner.
Oh, wow.
And
okay.
He does not like the game.
Okay.
For reasons that I can't explain because I'm not a speedrunner. And he doesn't just dislike it because, like, it's bad for a speedrunning game. He's like a very big Sonic fan. And I think with Sonic Frontiers, it's from what I've seen, it's pretty split. I have fun with it because I have like a smooth monkey brain, and it's like small hedgehog run fast, get rings, sparkle sparkle, Leo boing boing, that kind of stuff. I have fun in that regard. And I think again, it's like with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I think if this is a step in where Sonic games are gonna go, then that's really exciting.
Yeah, because it feels like with Sonic games, they kind of almost like reset. It was like, okay, we did that, time to do something quite different in many cases. Whereas with this, it feels like people are expecting an iteration on top of Frontiers after this at some point.
That'd be really nice. I'm also so happy with what they're doing with the story as well. I was not expecting to watch the final cutscene of a Sonic game and like actually go like, oh, and like feel like I felt like my heart like really twitched. I was like, that's really sad. Like, what the hell? I wasn't expecting it, and I heard that the writer of the Sonic, I'm sure there are some Sonic fans in the chat who can tell me, one of the writer of the Sonic comics did the writing for this game, and it's fantastic to see. Yeah, like Eggman
has development? Really?
Oh, he gets some really fantastic development in this game, and that's kind of part of the. I was like, I wasn't expecting to actually want to just buy Eggman a drink and be like, everything's gonna be okay, man.
Robotnik
I'm not even
has
kidding.
development. Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
When you, if you're okay with me after the stream, of course. If you're okay with me spoiling a tiny bit about it,
okay.
Then I'll tell you. But it's
right.
pretty impressive what they do. And oh my God, False, have you seen the first boss?
I think I have. What is it?
Odie, have you seen the first boss?
Was it in like the trailers of this like giant thing that you gotta like run with like mechanical? I don't even know how to explain it. What the heck? It's
they're called Titans.
Oh, okay.
And the music goes so hard, and I would love to send you a thing, but obviously I don't want to risk you it playing through the stream because
got it.
Oh, great. It is some peak mid-2000s, like, scene kid metal music, and it is the best shit. It is so good. Like, on stream, when I heard it, it's like, da, 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 da. I was like, oh my God. And then, when, like, the main beat hits in, it's wild. It's wild. I was like, this is like Paramore. This is like Trivium. I'm getting, like, Paramore Trivium vibes with this song, and like the actual gameplay itself, I'm like, whatever. It's not as fun as the actual running around the world, but man, that music, ooh! And each boss has a different track.
That's a lot of work. That's more work than I was expecting, actually. Yeah.
Like the very, very final song, it kind of incorporates the frontier aspect into it, and the how can I put it? Okay. This might make some of you excited. The best way for me to describe Sonic Frontiers boss music, it's like Metal Gear Revengeance.
That's exactly what came to mind. I was like, wait a second,
Yeah.
You've just described something that was very Platinum-esque, more specifically Revengeance-esque.
It really... if you were to take that song and put it in like a Revengeance-like game, I'd be like, oh, sick.
Fits right in.
You know, like...
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's... I was so surprised.
I just also had heard like Magni Desmond, a Sonic fan in his own right, had basically said this is a game that he enjoys because it just makes him feel like Sonic. You're not playing as Sonic, it makes you feel like Sonic, if that makes any sense. So
yeah,
it's immersive that way. But okay. Let's talk about another fuzzy rodent here. The cat. Cat woke me up at 5 a.m. Cat patted my face to get me out of bed. Her claw got caught on my lip.
Oh my God.
She knocked my water off the bedside table. I'd do anything for her. She does nothing wrong ever, and I protect her with my life. This is obviously a cat rendition we've shown multiple times, but it looks very similar in some ways. To the cat that we're talking about here.
My lovely cat, Jess. I know what is a rat to do with a cat? Why does Zeke Marigold own a cat when it does all that? I'll tell you why. She is my life, that cat. I love her so much. She woke me up this morning by pretty much punching me in the face because I overslept. So that meant she didn't get her usual breakfast. So it literally was like back, just like punch, like, get up in a second. But she's also the kind of cat that will cuddle with you. So if I'm trying to go to sleep and she's in the room with me, at some point you'll start to hear like it's the purr machine, and she'll go up to you and then she'll start like patting your face again so you can let her under the covers, and then she'll stretch out her body and she'll cuddle into you, and it is the cutest thing ever. Like, even guests who've come to the house, when they're there for a little bit, she'll try the game on them as well. She'll be like, look, I'm getting under them covers, it's lovely and warm in there. And she likes human attention. She's a God, she's cute. I love her. She's amazing.
Sounds like she adjusted to your new place. I mean, you've been there at least half a year, I think, now at this point. But there was a transition there, so all that thankfully transitioned for her.
Yeah, it was a worrying time because I changed her from being an outdoor cat into an indoor cat, because when she was an outdoor cat, she was very territorial. She got into many fights, and she almost passed away a couple of times due to those injuries. And on the very final one, I was like, okay, so first of all, not only did that particular one cost me over $1,000, I was like, you know what? Nah, you're staying inside. Like, I can't deal with this anymore. So I made the adjustments to make her an indoor cat. And I'm not just saying this, I've never seen her happier in her life, and she has never begged to be let outside since.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah. All it requires is just some good fucking training, and then she's happy as Larry. You know, that makes me really happy. You know, I think I've at least extended her life expectancy by hopefully another few years, because she's getting up. She's about 13 now. That's kind of the age where you go like, you're getting old, you know. So I hope she lives the rest of her days as a very, very, very happy cat, and that's all I can really hope to do.
All right, back to the game talk.
Oh, hell yeah.
Bayonetta 3, making me pull this fun emoticon, whatever, IRL. Impressions of Bayo. I've known you to be a massive fan of the first game.
Yes.
Accepting of the second game, with responsible critiques for the second game, I would say. And then we have 3, which I know, as far as the ending goes, and again, we're not going to spoil anything here, but was quite divisive at best. What's your take on the game? What's your take now on the series? What are you thinking on it?
So, I love Bayonetta more than anything. I've actually got a Bayonetta tattoo on my back.
Oh, wild. Okay.
Yeah. So you know Jubileus from the first game. The final boss of Bayonetta 1. She has an angel halo.
Okay.
I got that tattooed from one shoulder blade to the other. It kind of goes halfway down my back. So that I'm not even going to pretend that one made me painful. It was really painful. But I love Bayo. I love it enough to get it on my body. And I'm not going to lie when I say that Bayo 3 makes me nervous for what is to come. I have a VTuber friend who has been on this show before, Rococo.
Yes.
We were talking in depth about Bayo 3. It's I don't it's like concerning. I don't know. Concerning is a weird word for it, but I think everyone is kind of like, this is a choice that you're doing, and I hope that you have. It's like, I hope you know what you're going to be doing in the future with this idea, because at this point, it builds you really, really high with the hype, and then it kind of like swirlies you a little bit. and expects you to be okay with that. Now, I'm not trying to say that that's everyone. There are quite a few people who really like the ending, and I do not begrudge them for that. I think it's a completely valid opinion to have. With me, it just makes me nervous more than anything. But that being said, one character who I was not expecting to love was Viola. I was not expecting to love her as much as I did, because in the trailers they made her out to be really, really annoying. Turns out she's kind of a goober. She's like not so much annoying as she is a real massive nerd. And I kind of love that, and I'm happy that she is she's gonna be like a mainstay now. It makes me really pleased.
Are the comparisons between her and Nero from Devil May Cry, do you think they're fair or limiting to her who she is?
Completely different type of goober to Nero.
Gotcha.
Yeah, completely different type of goober, but there might be inspirations there. There might be inspirations. I definitely won't deny. I mean, I think with Bayonetta, you know, there are definitely quite a few Devil May Cry references, you know, in it. So it wouldn't surprise me if they're going to try and do a Nero with Viola. And yeah, it's really, really hard because I can't really talk much about it without going into heavy spoilers.
Yeah, we don't have
and
to.
I'm trying to kind of like skirt around it a little bit, you know. But and that's another thing as well. Viola's theme is that is like what I was talking about, how, you know, Sonic Frontiers had like that kind of music. Viola's theme is just flat out. It's just Paramore. It just sounds like Paramore. Like I listen like this is just Paramore, and I love Paramore. So I'm like, all right, if we end up getting like a cool punk goth witch who listens to Paramore, I can kind of fuck with that. That's kind of dope, honestly. I like that. So yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see Viola's development in the next game or two. I think Bayonetta 3's entire launch was one of the most messy things I've ever seen in the history of video games in a long time. It was a wild ride.
Yeah,
it was wild.
We're not a video game channel, so I don't want to beholden anyone to.
Yeah, I apologize.
Going through that. There are just better sources than me talking about it to go into that, but yeah, it's a wild ride, and there's a lot out there for it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, I know we're up to the 2-hour mark here. I don't
that flew.
Don't mean to keep you, but we did have more if you want to continue on, or if we need to take off. Okay, all right.
I'm happy with that, yeah.
So, yeah, Bayo, it's complicated, is what I'd put it at right now.
Yeah. That is definitely, it's definitely, how can I put it? I'm shutting my eyes and like covering my ears to the ending at this point, because the game itself is very fun. Very, very fun. So I'm just like, until I figure out what is gonna be happening with the ending, then I'll be fine. It's complicated.
Zeke,
oh god, nice.
Is this real? Is this a real map?
It's real. Cody, you can back me up here.
We have some weird places, honestly.
Yep, that is the okay, so I didn't know that Cockermouth was actually a real town, but when I saw it on the map when I was on holiday, I went, yep. That's a British town. There's also Bothell at the top there with what a collection of names we've got on this map. What a collection. But yeah, I saw that and I turned into a 12-year-old. I just know that.
Not to be too introspective about this, but I'd like to hear from either of you, you know, being a British VTuber, do you see this now proliferating out now? Do you feel it's still kind of, I don't know, capped on? What's your impression of you know, British streaming? Is there any impression that you actually have about it? Do you think it informs how you stream at all?
I'll let you go first, Cody.
Well, I don't think British VTubers even exist. I'm pretty sure there's only like one, and it's me.
So go subscribe.
Yeah, it's really funny because I think when you meet one, you sort of discover like a whole bunch of people that you didn't even know existed. And I think the British VTubing scene anyway is huge, is massive. I just don't, I probably only know like 0.1% of them. So it's really surprising. Even like the MTM meet, I was like pleasantly surprised to see like the small amount of people there that were British VTubers. And I was just like, holy crap, this is kind of something. But you'll find that, like I say, if you discover one, you'll find that you'll discover more. So where I think I had an interaction or a couple of interactions with Rococo, and then I just discovered like 3 or 4 or 5 other British VTubers just based off of that, and it's very it's like it's a small circle of a multitude of different circles, I guess.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree. I will say one crazy little thing there, Cody. I was also at the MCM meet, but I do not remember if I said hello, because I was very nervous.
God, Zeke, I was saying this on chat on the stream the other day. I was like, man, we've got this thing that's happening on Sunday, and like Zeke is there. And I was like, I remember them seeing that because I looked back at the film that
you were both there. You were both in the circle.
We were both there. We were both.
I don't even remember. I'm trying to go through faces.
Yeah, I was just like, what was I doing? Was I drunk? Like, what was going on? How did I don't remember like, meeting anyone.
That's the thing. Like, even when all the phones are in a circle, I'm like, hang on.
I was literally the same. I was like, okay. And I can't even remember the day. It might have been the day where I kind of ran off to go chase like Niji Sanji cosplayers, I think it was.
I think that was like Saturday or something like that.
Yeah.
After.
Saturday was something else.
Yeah, I was like half dead from Saturday as well because it was just...
It was busy. It was a busy day. Yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, as far as British VTubing goes, it's exactly like Cody says. I kind of... Initially, when I first debuted, I had a bunch of people follow me, and I kind of made some new friends and connections through that. And then I found out a bunch of them were going to MCM, and I was like, oh, cool. So I can meet a bunch of new faces and everything. And then in that little circle, I start to realize, like, oh, wow, okay, there is actually like a really nice, like, comfy little indie scene with British VTubers. And obviously there are like some really big British VTubers in like Niji Sanji, like Vox, Mister, etc. I think as far as like Hololive goes, and like with Niji on the kind of on the girls' side, there's no British VTuber as far as that goes. And so especially with like the that people know the elusive. The elusive way we're kind of how can I put it? We are many, but we hide in the sewers until eventually the applications are chosen, and we'll get there one day, gamers. Don't worry, we'll
I know personally of British VTubers that hide their accent because it actually gives away their location. Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay.
That is also a thing. Yeah.
I think that'd be impossible for me to do.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think at this point, I can. My American accent is just like, how can I put it? It's like really bad.
It's perfect. Talk about burgers and your big-breasted wife, please.
I was talking about what was it? I can't speak. There's like, oh my god, sorry, my brain is like short-circuiting. It's going to like broadband dial-up connection. Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's like those joke American adverts. Like, hello there. Today I'm going to eat a cheeseburger. You're gonna go for that really like goofy ass. Yeah, I don't know.
It's that aesthetic of like it's almost like the Japanese interpretation of Americans that we love.
Yeah.
We're like, we love this so much, we can't get enough of it. It's one of our favorite aesthetics. Like,
and then when
cowboy
it comes
hats,
to, like,
burgers, revolvers, as far as the eye can see. It's perfect.
Yeah. Then when it comes to like the British, we're just being dunked on endlessly on social media. And
oh my god,
every day.
It's
I get it from Lady and Heidi literally every day. Like even when I'm not there, it's just like all of a sudden I can hear Heidi in my head, like just British. And like and in any of their streams, like if I tune in, all of a sudden they're speaking British, and I don't know. It's adorable. It's very cute. It's funny. Like Jesus Christ, I can't get away from the Brits.
We can take a bit of banter. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's banter at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Yeah. But no, British VTuber scene, alive and kicking. Met a lot of really friendly faces at MCM, and I hope to meet more British VTubers as well. And I'd love to see the British VTuber scene, you know, really continue to surge in like the kind of corporate scene and stuff like that. I think that'd be really cool. And that's my take there.
Well, you survived the heat wave from this summer, so you've made it. You've made it out to the other side now, going into winter proper here.
Thank goodness.
And let's now get to a topic that I think is near and dear to the both of you. You're saying, I can't wait to play Splatoon 3, get really frustrated at 2 a.m. and vow to never touch my Switch ever again. Only to say game of the year the second I wake up. Man, I love Splatoon. What's the appeal, Cody? What has made this an addicting thing in your life?
Where do I start? First off, the music slaps. It's so good. Like, you guys are sitting on it. Like, you need to go and listen to the music or watch any of the concerts that they've had, like just like very similar to like VTuber hologram concerts. It's so good, so good. And then secondly, it's just one of those kind of fun games that you can play brain dead, but if you don't want to play brain dead, then you can put like 110% effort into it and get to a place where you can be competitive or you can be a bit more tactical. It's really one of those games, again, open to all ages, and it's fun. Like I love competitive gaming, full stop. So I do play a lot of the competitive side, and even if I get beaten by a 3-year-old like across the internet or across the pond who's learning how to or just playing this game, it's still fun for me. I'll get frustrated, but I'll jump straight on again. It's just really fun. There's just too many different game modes, but again, everything is just really cutesy, and the lore is very interesting. The lore is very interesting.
Crazy. It's weird that they go so hard on like the lore, and I don't know. I love the fact that Splatoon is quite literally a post-apocalypse game. It's really interesting. I kind of love that. And I mean, I think it with Splatoon, especially in Japan, they take Splatoon very seriously, and you see some like really powerful plays like in Japan. So I think when you kind of look at it from an outsider's perspective, you go like, it's just a bunch of squids, you know, fire and paint everywhere. Where's the skill in that? You'd be surprised. It is it's a lot of like coordination, a lot of teamwork, because it's not just shoot person and kill them, it's you got to paint the map. So obviously, you know, when a bunch of people are focusing on one group, you can have one person slip in around the back and start to, you know, paint the base and everything. You know, so it's a really, really fun game, and bad for people like me who can't aim, but still very fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of pop culture reference in it as well. Like it's they recently did so there's a mode in there called Salmon Run where you just like it's hordes essentially. They did like a few pop culture references where you can get accessories from things like Back to the Future and stuff like that. And in the second game, which is what really sold me on the whole thing in general, like the two main, so each game has idols. So the first one were like heavily influenced by K-pop and J-pop, that are traditional idols. In the second game, it was like very hip-hop inspired. So the two characters, Pearl and Marina, were based on Tupac and Biggie, and then we've got Fry and Shiver now, and so like it's such a really kind of diverse game and culturally influenced game across every generation that it's really acceptable, and you'll find things that you really like in it.
I love the music. The music is so cool. I really do. I don't know, it's just yeah, there's a lot of appeal to Splatoon, and originally I didn't see the appeal with Splatoon 1, but then Splatoon 2 came out and there was such hype around it. I thought, oh yeah, I'll have a play, and then I got like, 80 hours in it in like the space of a few months, and it's yeah, it just became a little mini obsession of mine. But I will admit, I don't get angry at games often, but for whatever reason, Splatoon puts like blood in my eyes. It just just like, because you don't know if it's like a little kid who's just killed you in a really expert way, or if it's like somebody your age. And not only that, but teabagging in the game is, if you see someone go in and out of ink really quickly, it does this sort of like noise like in the ink, and it just makes you want to like like yeah.
They call it squid bagging. It's great.
Yeah, it is so toxic, but I've got to. Sometimes I have been known to squid bag every now and then. I'm not gonna lie. I've been known to do it on a couple of occasions, because there've been some people who would just do it to me endlessly, and I finally get them like just like furiously tapping the button. Just oh man, but yeah, it's good. It's a fun game.
Twilight Miasma, thank you very much for the 5. Prepare for the big run. Thank you. Yeah. We did see that you had retweeted the story that we ran as a main story one day about the VTubers that were chroming out the colors on the game and showing Japanese adult videos with that. Brings to a question, you're a content creator. Are you maybe more careful when you approach Nintendo content, because we know John Nintendo is a different breed of how what they consider? Or does that enter into your mind whenever you make any kind of content at all?
It depends on the game.
Okay.
I think it does depend on the game. If it's something like Xenoblade, that's fine. I think like when it, because I mean, you haven't really heard much about Nintendo YouTubers being completely shut down for like covering a Mario game.
Yeah.
You know? But I think if they're like, for example, I know Atlas have the kind of reputation of don't stream this, don't stream Persona, don't stream this parts of Persona, don't stream this, that, da-da-da-da-da. But those are more kind of rough guidelines more than anything. They put that kind of, and people, every single time they go, oh, these rules are so, like they're so archaic, they're so this and that. But then I managed to stream the entirety of Persona 5 Royal on Twitch without getting a single slap.
Right.
So it's really just a case of, how can I put it? Don't push your luck and you'll be fine, I guess. Don't play all of the Nintendo song in your video. Well, they'll come for you. They know where you are. They've got a tactical strike on your house imminent. And it's very scary. But yeah, I don't know. I think, yeah, you just gotta be. I think you just gotta be careful. End of the day, keep your kind of ear to the ground. Listen to what other creators are saying. If they go, don't cover this game, they're handing out copyright strikes. You go, gotcha, and you wipe your hands of them. But yeah, other than that, I'd say Nintendo games are pretty fair game.
Here we have you speaking about Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Oh my god.
Phenomenal game. I'll be experiencing post-game with you all soon, because I don't want it to end just yet. And of course we also had Jakato here, still waiting on that Xenoblade export. Nintendo, you brought all the others to Switch already. Yeah, any thoughts on this series? Any thoughts on the ports and such like that? Any hopes for the series?
Xenoblade is one of the best things ever. I love Xenoblade. Oh my god, I love it so much. If anyone hasn't played Xenoblade, go and play it. Well, okay. You're gonna have to... It has a very specific gameplay style, I guess. The best way to describe it to someone who maybe hasn't It's like an offline MMO, but it's, how can I put it? It's a lot offline MMO, but they've taken the fact that, you know, it's a single player game into mind, so it's not, you know, not too crazy, but it's really, really fun. It's all about like positionals and stuff like that, which we were talking about Final Fantasy XIV earlier. If you're used to Final Fantasy XIV, you will be used to Xenoblade. You know, there are some moves like, I mean, there's literally moves like, what was it, like backslash. You've got to go behind the enemy to do it, and you do more damage. Or there's like a side break attack where if you slash them at the side, they're more likely to break and stuff like that. It's really, really fun, and I vibe with the gameplay a lot. And some bosses feel like they were made with this single-player MMO thing in mind, because their health is like, you know, you hit them and you see, you barely even see the health drop. It's pretty crazy. Yeah. So it's pretty nutty, but you know, I know there's one Niji Sanji member who really loves it. Alira Pandora has been playing through all of the Xenoblade games lately, and that has been fantastic to watch. And so I think if anyone's kind of interested, I would recommend maybe Alira's streams, because they're a really great way to watch the Xenoblade series through the eyes of somebody who hasn't experienced them before. But I would also obviously recommend you play them yourselves, because their stories are just something else. They really are. I know Xenoblade Chronicles 2 gets some flack from the fans, but I'm gonna say that 2 is a really, really good game with a few bits in the story which I don't really vibe with. Just I kind of they made me cringe a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, and I think people probably know what I'm referring to. But I've heard a lot of people say if you enjoy Xenogears, you'll probably really enjoy was it Xenogears or Xenosaga? One of the two. You're probably really going to enjoy Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And so I think, yeah, if you're just a fan of the Xeno series, just pick them up. They're good games. I love Shulk. Shulk is my boy. Everyone's British.
So you're the one. I see. You're
the one. What have I done now? What have I done?
Outed the Shulk player here. We got him.
Oh, I see. So, Shulk's just a good boy. Shulk's a good boy. You play the game and you think, oh man, Shulk's he's a good little character, and there's something real special about Xenoblade Chronicles 2 having a lot of really good like Welsh representation. Because I personally think that the Welsh accent is actually kind of beautiful. And so when you hear Nier speak in 2, and it's a really thick Welsh accent, I'm just like, oh, I love it so much. It's really great. Yeah, a lot of people kind of underestimate how many accents there are in the UK, but Xenoblade shoves them all in there somehow. And it's really fantastic. It's great. It's really good. And yeah, like Nia's voice actress seems really passionate about the role as well. Welsh born and bred and stuff like that. She seems really, really cool. And yeah. I think I would recommend them, but just be usually a playthrough can last like 70 hours on a good day. So
yeah,
get comfy.
I read something here in chat. It was like, get yourself 400 hours free and play Xenoblade is the saying there. So once you're in. My best recommendation is don't rush it. Take your time. Take breaks if you need to, because burning out on Xenoblade makes it very difficult to pick it back up. Because obviously there are so many story twists, and the gameplay does get pretty involved later. You'll probably forget, you know. So it's good just to take it at your own pace. They're amazing. Stories are fantastic. The music is banging. Whoa! This really has been the gaming podcast, huh? Chatting about video games. Oh, I'm happy with that. I like my video. We can't stop because we have more here, and we have your collection here.
Oh yeah, let's go.
Normally we don't do IRL stuff, but this is I was impressed. I was like, this is great.
Fine.
So yeah, chat. Here we have this beautiful physical collection here, along with some figures here, and yes, some representation here. There's Celine there, and I'm gonna go.
There's Pomu behind Cody.
Just get Pomu there. There she is. Got some acrylics there. So we have this. Are you a collector? Do you feel there's a value to physical games, or do you have any digital games at all? Does it matter to you at all?
No, it's just like backup firewood. Nah, I'm joking. I love collecting. Yeah, I love collecting. I'm mainly a collector of game media and manga, I would say, and figurines. I'd say that's kind of my main selection anyway. I mean, I can't speak. Since this picture, I mean, you can barely even see my One Piece collection down there, but that One Piece collection has now tripled.
Wow.
Because I was very, very lucky in that they were selling one of the One Piece box sets, which, if you're not careful, they sell out so fast, and then they double in price. So I ended up getting mine for about 120 UK pounds, which sounds like a lot, but considering that is triple the amount of manga that I have there, is really, really good value, and it's also cheaper than if you were to just buy them single. I just love... I don't know, there's something nice about it to me, because I think when I, eventually, here comes the dark times, when I eventually pass away, when I fade away into PS1 polygons, I would like to donate these to, like, museums, or specifically for, like game museums, or, like, media museums and stuff like that, because it would be nice to kind of pass something from my generation down to another generation, and kind of display these elements of my life that can that other generations can look at and go like, wow, that's cool that existed once. But yeah, that's kind of why I like to do it, I guess.
You hear that, chat? We're donating the Dragon's Crown Sorceress to the museum here. We're going to get that.
People are going to be looking very respectfully. That figurine, unironically, I actually love that figurine. It's one of the pride and joys of the collection. Number one, it looks great. Let's be real, gamers.
The scale of it is actually really nice, actually. Now
it's
see how
really
big it is.
Good. For the price, you'd expect it to come with a lot of really cool features. And the thing which I love the most about it is there's actually a magnet in the head.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's a magnet in the head and in the hat, so it doesn't fall off. So when you put it on the head, it goes like, and it gets sucked onto the head. It's really, really good. I'm planning on getting the Amazon figurine and the Elf figurine as well. However, they are very, very expensive.
Right.
So that might be like a Christmas gift for next year, I'd say. But they're damn good.
Has it been good to be a JRPG fan lately? Do you feel like there's been lulls being a JRPG fan? What's your kind of take right now on that whole aspect? And even as a content creator, do you think there's a lot there? Do you think there's too little there?
I would say there's probably never been a better time to be a JRPG enjoyer, I guess. There's just so many games out right now. Like just in 2022, there've been some really great releases. We finally got Live Alive in the West.
Yeah,
which
I know of the ones that I would never expected.
Yeah, exactly.
That was wild.
It's the first time I've ever played it, and I was like, it's exactly like with Cody and Metal Gear. It's like, I'm not unhappy that I couldn't play it. I'm happy that I get to experience this amazing game, like now in 2022 with this updated look and with like voice acting, and it makes me so happy. And yeah, I think as far as games go, I mean, gosh, there's Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which is that game is like a 5-course meal over the space of like 3 weeks. It's so meaty, it's so good. There's obviously Live Alive, there's There's the new Pokemon game, which is out, which is amazing. There's just, and it's annoying because now my brain is just like Pokemon, Xenoblade, Live Alive. Can't remember what other JRPGs. There's nothing. There's no more JRPGs. That's it. Full stop. But yeah, that, you know what? Yeah, if you like JRPGs, then my goodness, it's a good time to be alive. Let me tell you.
I know we talked about Drakengard. I know we talked about Nier. I don't mean to go into it too much again, but
it's okay.
It should be noted we had just an absolute wild event. The Nier Backrooms, the Nier Church event here.
Yeah!
Absolutely wild. Thank you so much to all the talented members of the community who are unraveling all the secrets, feeling a lot of love right now. I swear, if Drakengard 4 is born from this, I'll explode. I'll turn into goddamn atoms. So I don't know if I could even give it a real, true, accurate breakdown. What was happening in your mind when these really random videos of apparently this entirely new section to this massively popular game was happening? What was churning in your mind? Were you expecting like announcements? Were you happy with where it went?
It was a combination of either this is the biggest ruse, which it kind of was.
Yes.
Or this is a really cool way to introduce a new title. And so obviously, you just got to keep watching and looking, and it was fascinating, and it was such a cool fan event. I think it's why I couldn't even be mad when I found out it was all just a mod, because it kind of the fact that it still got everyone that excited. Everyone was like just obsessed with finding out what all the secrets were, and like, oh my goodness, what are all these things? And even Taro was kind of playing into it a little bit.
Yes, yes.
Which was very funny, and I think there was just something kind of special about it, and it made me feel very like warm. I'm just like, the community is alive and well.
I can't quite really think of anything that kind of played out this way. So for chat, if you guys aren't aware, there was just some random videos. This guy was saying, what is this place? And he was posting it to Reddit. Yeah. And they were like the most amateurish kind of videos you could imagine. It just looked like some guy playing on one of the, maybe on a console even. And it looked like he unlocked an entirely new hidden area to the game. And the videos were slowly kind of coming out, and people were kind of wondering, well, even if this was, fake, the amount of work that would go into it would be massive. And it turned out it was, in essence, a mod that was expertly done, so much so that you could buy that it was actually a hidden part to the game. And I think it was actually kind of warmly received, even when it was found out that it was a mod. And they were just kind of rusing people on, because they had every intention to let people know it was just a way to kind of get interest in it. Never seen anything like it before. It
was incredible.
I don't mean to take up too much time. Final Fantasy 14.
Sure.
Final Fantasy 14. I don't know where to begin. Okay, so here's the thing. The VTuber who influenced me to become a VTuber is a very, very dedicated Final Fantasy 14 player. So much so that I thought, Final Fantasy 14 is going to be my game. I'm going to get in, and I'm going to be a Final Fantasy 14 VTuber. That was my idea.
Oh, okay.
So I finally got everything kind of arranged, and I finally got up the the setup to do all of this. I ran a 4-hour stream playing Final Fantasy 14, and I was like voicing everybody and getting through it, and then 4 hours were done, and my voice was dead. I was like, wait, you can't do this. That's impossible. You can't possibly do that. And I guess that's my question. When you're streaming these games or JRPGs maybe that aren't voiced, what do you feel like? Do you feel like you're ever like needing to voice things, or do you feel like the audience can follow along themselves? What's your thinking on that?
It's a tough one. I think there are games like Pokemon where I really don't want to voice it, because especially during the beginning, everyone's seen it a million times. You know, it's here are your starter Pokemon, here's a tutorial, here's this and that, but you kind of feel obligated to, because everyone else kind of does it, and you think like, man, gotta like pull out my best voice acting chops for this one. But yeah, there are definitely some games where you kind of need to story heavy JRPGs, and it does get very. It's why I do appreciate JRPGs when they do have voice acting, because it's a very streamer specific thing where you can actually sit back and just go, whew. I'll let them do the work for now. I can just kind of sit back and just talk to chat for a little bit. But if it's like a PS1 game, I mean, like right now I can't even begin. If anyone in chat is interested, right now I'm streaming Digimon World every Sunday. It's really fun. That game is written like a baby did it, and it's it's so easy. It's just like, was it you got away from the village? It's like, I didn't like the village. I thought it was smelly. And then go back to the village. It is now less smelly than it was before. They go, okay, I'll go back to the village. And it's like, wow, there we go. That's kind of that. And I'm perfectly fine with voicing that like a goober. But I'm nervous in the future because I'm gonna be playing Xenogears for the first time, and that game is going to kill my throat. Because that is a very, very long JRPG with a very story-rich game with a bunch of crazy biblical themes and weird naming conventions, and I'm just like, oh no, I have to speak the English language? What am I, a streamer? This is bullshit. Like, I don't know. But no, it is kind of necessary sometimes, and I'm excited, but
the further we get out from the original release of Xenogears, the wilder that game gets. Like, the older it gets, the wilder it is when you actually go back and see what they put in it. Yeah.
Yeah. I like it when the little fluffy pink creature is crucified for some reason.
Yes.
My friend did a review of it once, and I saw that, and I was like, "What?" like always, I don't know. It seems like a fun experience. But yeah, no, I'm excited. That's why I was happy with Live Alive as well, because they voiced it, and it was really cool, and it does make me not so much nervous, but have you guys heard the rumor mill that Final Fantasy IX might be getting some kind of a remake?
I have heard that in passing.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy IX is such a conundrum. We'll jump into it here. Final Fantasy IX is a game that has a devoted following, but not to the volume as to its predecessor and successor, right? And so it is kind of like lost in the shuffle. I don't know where I put I don't know. I mean, yeah, you look at these other remakes that are manageable because they're 16-bit. Final Fantasy IX, I just tell myself, is on a whole other level and would take major effort to like actually truly remake. Do you want a remake? If so, what would you want out of it?
Okay, let's speak purely hypothetically here. If they were to ever remake it, they would constantly have my sniper rifle pointed at their heads at all time. I am gonna sound like a massive bitch right now, but I think it's like the Final Fantasy VII remake situation, right? And I remember back when that released, there was this really weird point in that game's history where people who were expecting like a Final Fantasy VII remake didn't really get that in the end. They were given something else, and they were, in my opinion, kind of rightfully allowed to be disappointed. However, I still think Final Fantasy VII Remake is a very interesting title. I think it's very cool. But people who were expecting, that remake that they'd been wanting, they weren't exactly given that. And so if Final Fantasy IX were to ever get remade, I would personally prefer it to be a Spyro reignited situation, where it is the game, but they have, revamped the graphics, there's some voice acting, there might be a couple of different bits here or there, they've kind of fixed the gameplay to the point where the trance system isn't as weird as it is. I don't know. There are like a couple of things which the game leaves not so much unresolved, but they kind of leave it in this weird limbo state, like with Freya's storyline. It starts and then it ends. And that has always been something which has disappointed me. And again, I love Final Fantasy IX more than anything, but at this point in my life, I'm also somebody who is very vocal about the problems I have with it. I think that comes with liking anything. Like if you really like something, after a few years, you kind of... It almost becomes fun.
Yeah, there's a what-if aspect to it. Like, what if, though, it's this way or that way, or this was...
Exactly.
Or this was totally different.
Yeah, because you start to realize, like, even if it's your favorite game of all time, you still have those moments of, oh, God, it's that bit. So you kind of think like, okay, if they were to ever remake Final Fantasy IX, I would want it to be like a 1-to-1 remake. I think that because if they do anything else, it's like the game is like way too important to me, and it's like that thing where, how can I put it? It just holds such a special place in my heart where, same combat system and everything, not more action, it's same combat system. I'm a firm defender of the turn-based system. I don't believe that every remake needs to be turned into an action game for it to be considered a remake. I think that kind of, not so much, I think it kind of devalues turn-based as a gameplay system when people go, we're going to remake this, and they kind of treat turn-based gameplay as if it's an old, outdated element that needs to be, like, removed. I think that's kind of where I've always stood with it. But that being said, there is so much with the turn-based system that could be remade. It doesn't have to be exactly the same as Final Fantasy IX, but if it is still a turn-based system where they kind of like tweak things and make things a bit different, I think that'd be really, really cool. I'd want to voice Steiner.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Yeah.
This straight up, we have this fantastic art here with, again, the characters here.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
So we saw you retweet that out. Yeah. This isn't a fair question. Let's get into it. Why is Final Fantasy IX your favorite game? What should people expect if they want to try Final Fantasy IX? Why is it something that could be their favorite game, right? Like, what is it that kind of, was it a build up? Did it come at a right time?
Okay. So I'm going to have to choose my words carefully, because explaining why 9 is my favorite game would also mean talking about years of emotional trauma and damage from my younger formulative years, But I've seen when you talk about this game, it is personal to that level, right? And that's exactly that. It is personal to that level. It was there for me when nobody else was. And that I think is probably the best example as to why. And even if that wasn't the case, I still think the story was and is one of the most beautiful stories that Final Fantasy has done in a long time. I love the idea of death being a core focus of the game, and coming to terms with a group of issues. Like in the very beginning of the game, it starts off and it literally lists all of the characters' like biggest concerns and worries about life. And in the game, you kind of go through it, and they all come to accept those elements of themselves. And one of the biggest forms of that is the fear of death. And in the end of the game, I'm not going to spoil that much, but you kind of fight that fear in a literal sense. You fight your fear of death in the most literal sense possible. And the ending, I don't know if you still watch me at the time, False, but when I was streaming my Final Fantasy IX playthrough, even though it was like the 1,000,000th time I've played it, I have never cried that hard on a stream before. It was ugly crying, because it's a game that, you know, is as I said, it was there for me when no one else was, and that ending always gut punches me so hard because you don't expect them to do it. You don't expect them to do what they do, but they do it. You think, oh, everything is, you know, the way Final Fantasy IX deals with like terminal illness or just death or depression or the loss of a loved one, and all that. It's perfect, and that's what I mean when I say if 9 were to ever be remade, it would be nice if things got a little bit more fleshed out, like with Freya. Her entire thing is the losing a loved one, because her loved one has basically, they have a really terrible case of amnesia, and they've completely forgotten who she is after years of thinking that he'd just abandoned her. And when he admits to her, he's like, I don't even know who you are. She's just like, it brings her to her knees, and she's just like, this is a pain worse than death. And that's kind of where her story ends for a long time, until the ending. And it's man, it just hits so good. And if you're looking for a game that will leave you with this really amazing feeling of bittersweetness in a good way, like it hits you with the bitter element, but it's not in a distasteful way. It's really, really pretty. It's a really, really nice way for them to wrap up that almost bombshell of an ending. And then they end it in just the sweetest way you could possibly imagine. And after all of that bitterness that you've just experienced, having all that sweetness poured on top of you, it kind of like releases the floodgates a little, and all that stress is just able to pour off you, and it's, can you tell I like this game?
And unsurprisingly, or surprisingly altogether, you had been talking about an Excalibur run, right?
Yes.
So back into it. If I may ask, what does that entail? What would that look like?
Okay, right then. Gamer boys. So, Final Fantasy IX Excalibur 2. Excalibur 2. The Excalibur 2 is Steiner's most powerful weapon in the game.
Okay.
However, Final Fantasy IX did something a little bit different. Final Fantasy IX made this a speedrun weapon. Which means you have to play the game as fast as you possibly can. If you don't beat the game... Sorry, if you don't get to the very final dungeon within 12 hours...
Wow.
You don't get it. You miss out on getting it. So, that is what an Excalibur 2 run is. It's like a... Yeah. So
have you done this before?
I've attempted it.
Okay.
If I'm being honest, I've completely forgotten if I've even accomplished it. I have played this game. Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things.
Cool.
But it is a rough journey. The great news is you know, you can like smash through cutscenes. I want to do it. It's gonna sound weird, genuinely, because the remaster, and I'm saying that with quotation marks going out of the door.
Right.
The remaster makes it so you can actually turn off enemy encounters on the world map. And it also speeds up the battle animations, so you can choose to turn off the intro battle animation which admittedly was one of 9's biggest issues with the gameplay, is that it is slow. Very, very slow game if you play it on the PS1, because all of the battles do this like introduction where it's like dun 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 dun, and it does like a camera spin, and then it will zoom out with the camera, and then it will zoom in on the enemy, and you're like, get on with it! I'm trying to... and they got rid of that. Now, that makes Excalibur runs a lot easier. I'm gonna make this hard on myself. I'm gonna try and do it the PS1 way, baby. And that is probably the most stupid thing I've ever done in my life. But I wanna, you know, it's almost like closing a page. You know what I mean? Like closing a page on my life. Is that, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna do it the PS1 way. I could never do this as a kid. Let's do it now. Let's just do it now. Let's make it. You know, we can bring in some drinks. We can bring in some guests. It'll be a fun time. I think it'll be really, really good. And yeah, that's kind of my goal with that. Anyway.
Crazy hype. We want to see it. We do. And let's see. We don't again want to go too into it again. One Piece, it's a thing. It's part of your life now. Nothing to take too much of your time about. But we also had this. Guess who spent the last few months thinking it was 2023? What happened?
Oh, don't. Oh, no. Don't.
What?
No.
What happened?
Why'd you have to bring... I don't know. It was 2022, and then all of a sudden, like... It's as if like the like reality, you know, like they say like alternate realities. It's like another reality like collided with mine, and all of a sudden, I was just like, oh yeah, it's 2020, it's 2024 soon.
I guess when you're not set to like manually set the date or write things down, I guess it makes sense, right? Because it's not like a daily reminder that way. But even now, I'm like, how did that happen? I don't get it, man. I don't get it. It's such a... yeah, and I said it, and everyone in the comments like, what are you talking about? What happened?
Yeah, what happened? I don't know. It's so bizarre. And then in a way, it was kind of satisfying. Because it's like, oh, hell yeah, I've got like another year. You know? Like, that's another year of my life I can enjoy. Fuck yeah.
You gaslit yourself into this, actually. It's all good. Yeah.
I guess it kind of is what happened. Like, I think eventually, I just woke up one day and my brain was like, it's 2023, and I just didn't drop it for a while. That doesn't happen to people. It doesn't happen.
Usually not that length of time. You know, sometimes we forget things, though. We forget.
Oh, yeah.
We forget our birthdays. Like, what year was I born? That happens. It does.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the length of time that the last few months it was happening. That's where we're concerned. But okay, you're clued in now. We're all good. We're up to date. That's good.
Yes.
Let's take a look here. Again, Nintendo Directs. We had. This here. Okay, this is another piece we had here. The year is 2054, and Klimps has finally finished their passion projects. You finished your passion projects. What are the passion projects?
What was the
for
date
Zeke?
of this tweet?
This is September 1st.
VTuber model. This was before the debut, and it had taken so long just due to I assumed it would be a quick process, right? And this isn't even to do with the model and everything. You know, Twin is a genius. She did things really well.
Mm-hmm.
It was everything else that comes with it, you know, so like overlays, art for the banners, art for the assets down below, you know, new music that you need to find, all these other little things you need to keep in mind. And I commissioned a bunch of different artists as well, and some of them had to pull out due to time issues, so I had to find another one again, and it just became this like endless loop. And there were times where I got really depressed, and I was thinking, this is just never gonna happen, is it? You know, like, this is just never gonna happen. But it did. So, you know, fuck you, past Zeke. Eat my ass, past Zeke. So, yeah, but it did happen, and I'm really, really glad. As far as other passion projects go, I mean, I guess just certain games I want to cover, or just stream
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah.
Like one of my biggest flaws when it comes to YouTubing is going, oh, I want to make a video on this thing, and then I just never do. So that was me with Lost Odyssey, and now I realize why.
Or there's big ones like a Final Fantasy 14, right? Where it's like,
that is the most stupid thing I could have ever suggested, and then I put it online, and now people are never going to let me forget it.
The daunting one that will haunt you.
It'll haunt me, yep.
Rightfully a giant project, if ever, but
yeah.
Very quickly, we had to bring up this Coronet. Just very quickly, we had to.
Oh, good. That was when she was streaming it, wasn't it?
Yeah, should have had her on before, but there we have it. Yeah, that Final Fantasy IX. Again, another big fan of the game. Inagami Coronet.
Oh, that just makes her even more based, in my opinion. That is such a. Coronet's the best.
I said Final Fantasy IX was going to be the last thing we talked about. I lied.
It's okay.
The actual thing is this game that I don't even believe actually exists, but it does. It's Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin.
Let's go! Now we're talking peak Kino. Let's go, boys.
I enjoy making the Stranger of Paradise video, and yeah, guys, it's literally just... Here's a quick preview. There it is. That's the preview of the video. We won't show much else. I don't even believe this is a real game. I can't believe this is a real game. I can't even wrap my head around this game. I don't know. Is this a celebration of Final Fantasy? Is it a weird inversion of it, or what? What is this?
My mans, both of my mans. It is a weird one. Is Stranger of Paradise? It's like a celebration that takes itself far too seriously.
Yeah, that's my impression. Okay.
But because it takes itself too seriously, it's very funny. It's very funny. It's funny, but there are also some story beats which are unironically pretty good. I actually kind of like what they did with Garland in this game. Like, you never think, you never really think, but you think, oh, okay, that's actually a kind of neat way to like add in the Lufenians and stuff like that, and to kind of make the universe of Final Fantasy 1 work in a kind of bigger AAA video game. It's pretty interesting. And yeah, I mean, it's got a really addictive gameplay loop. The story is like my shit, where it's like it's got some enjoyable elements, but you can also kind of sit back and laugh at it as well, because Jack, the main character, is a bit of a loose cannon, and he's really funny because he doesn't give a shit if there's a cutscene playing. He will interrupt the characters in their monologue and will just go like, I don't give a fuck what you're talking about, and he'll just like beat them up, and I'm like, that is brilliant. That is actually brilliant. I love that, because there are so many times when you're watching a video and you're like, oh my god, get on with it, and like, Jack is you. It's great. It's really, really funny, and I think that makes Jack kind of lovable in a weird way, because there are multiple times where, he does show a bit more of a human side, and he deals with that, and it's really sweet. But there's something kind of special about that, where he can just like, there's another bit as well where I think there's a character who's introducing themselves. He just puts up his hands and he's like, I don't care. Tell me where to go. I'm like, that is such a power move, and I kind of dig that. I love it.
This is a project where I don't know if we are totally clued in as to if the creators, what their intention was entirely, right? Like, is that clear at all? Was that ever really revealed at all? Or are we still kind of scratching our heads as to like, are they in on it? Do they get it, what they've done here, or not? Judging
from an interview, it seems like they're not in on it.
That's even better.
Exactly. That makes it like even more funny. Yeah. But I mean, here's the thing. I don't think they were in on a lot of it, but there were definitely some jokes where you can tell. Like, for example, the I don't give a fuck who you are bit.
Yeah.
That is definitely intentional. Like that is the devs kind of going, this is Jack. He's gonna do this thing, he's gonna do that thing. But then there are also moments in the dialogue where it comes off as really borderline comical and stiff, and you go, okay, that was definitely not intentional. But all of the Jack bits, you know, where he kind of puts up his hand and he's like, just get on with it. That is definitely an intentional move from the devs, like as a Jack character trait. But you know, then there are also like the bits, obviously, when all the memes were coming out of chaos.
Right.
Chaos. I want to kill chaos. That to me doesn't seem like it was intentional, and I think that's where the interview was. They were like, we didn't mean for it to be so goofy. Like, yeah, it's cute.
Got it.
I love the game. It's so silly.
All right, so we are at time, folks. Once again,
okay.
It's still Black Friday to Cyber Monday weekend. We have the buy one get 50% off code FalseEyeD on Uwu Market. We just literally had someone pick up a mug just before the stream. Thank you so much for that. And
oh yeah.
Once again, that's out there on Uwu Market. Highly recommend. Feel free to check the link below. Again, we have announced that we are going to take part in our very first convention. That's going to be Anime Los Angeles coming up on January 5th through the 8th. We're at a main event on the 8th. We're going to have a lot of cool VTubers here with us. And I can go ahead and say, for our next guest, it's all the folks that we've not yet talked about. So we do have both Captain Hokage and Rikami coming in next week, next Sunday. Another all-boys stream. Somehow that worked out. And then the week after that, we do have the Skunk Twitch partner, Tob, who will be joining us. And then lastly, our final YouTube stream of the year on the 18th. We will be talking to Persephone, the Nekomancer, cute but devilish Nekomancer queen. So, we're definitely going to be able to get you guys an idea of everybody that's going to be on the panel. As we have, of course, had Cinder and Numi on as previous guests. Had a lot of fun with them. We want to let you guys know who else is going to be at the panel. And that's it for us. Zeke, what's up for you? What's the plan? Do you think the video's coming out this week? Maybe next week?
100% before November ends. 100%. I won't let it not come out before that ends. As far as streaming goes, first of all, I really, really appreciate the invite. I hope everyone had fun. I had fun. I had a good time. I am sorry though, because you did the cardinal sin, which was bring up video games I like, which means I don't shut up. So I apologize about that. But yeah, hopefully the passion could be felt. You know,
100%. Yeah.
Hell yeah, that's excellent. But yeah, no, I'm as far as streaming goes, I'm gonna be streaming some Revengeance in December. I am going to be there are other fun games I was going to stream. Probably some Devil May Cry 4, stuff like that. And yeah, I think if you wanna check that out, then you can go and follow me on Twitch, which is just Clemps RPG, or you can follow me on Twitter for updates, which is Clemps RPG. And then, you know, if you're a real deep delver, there is the alt account, but this is a VTuber show after all. So yeah,
absolutely. And once again, thank you everyone who was giving us the likes on the video here. Helps again push out the VOD and the stream. Thank you so much for that. And lastly, Cody, anything for the week? Any plans? Anything you'd like to knock out?
I'm gonna try. Well, now my internet is back. Yeah. I'm gonna get some more Pokemon in, because we're just collecting things and just complaining about how everyone has really crappy jobs in that game. And also going to see if I can finally get some Gundam Evolution in, because I've been putting it off for God knows how long now, and I'm really feeling mechy.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay, folks, once again, we hope to be back tomorrow with another episode of Things VTubers Say. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you for the time here, Zeke. Thank you so much. And we'll see you with more Things VTubers Say soon. Later, everybody. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, bye, bye.